Are you searching for a deeper understanding of your faith?
Inspiring Philosophy is your go-to resource for exploring the rich tapestry of Christian thought.
From biblical archaeology to philosophy of mind, we dive into the topics that matter.
Our content bridges faith and understanding, offering insights into God's existence and the reliability of the New Testament.
Join a community where faith meets reason and discover the answers you've been seeking.
Inspiring Philosophy, where faith meets understanding.
I'm sorry, Master, but I must go all out. Just this once. I don't like you, Muhammad. Dawa boys, you've left me no choice. Bible's been corrupted, that's your go to line. But you claim the same book, prophesize your sign, twisting every scripture, faking all the quotes, hiding all the facts, trying to keep your boat afloat. Without lies, Islam dies. Perfect preservation, yeah, that myth got wrecked. Worldly Quran don't even match the text. Used to flex science, now you backing away, cause camel embryo facts don't hit the same today. Got the Islamic dilemma, you can't solve that. Every answer you give makes the problem snap back. Say the Bible's corrupt, but your own book cries. Bibles are Allah's words, they can't be revised. If Allah's words can't change, then your claims are fraud. You just argued yourself against the word of your God. Injil's secret book, that's your mystery prize. But the Quran said Christians should judge by it. Lies, then your crew pull muted like it's just a game. Ruined the life and trashed a man's name. All that dawah talk, but when truth appears, you vanish from the chat like it hurt your ears. Without lies, Islam dies. Can't hide truth, can't spin those lies. Without lies, Islam dies. Dawah cries when the facts arise. Without lies, Islam dies. Can't hide truth, can't spin those lies. Without lies, Islam dies. Dawah cries when the facts arise. We follow Jesus better, sure in your dream, while cutting out his claims like you're cropping the meat. Crown off his head, toss his cross in the bin. The smile for the camera like you're still his kin. Jesus was a Muslim, cute little twist. Redefine the word so the facts don't exist. If labels could change what the records prove, the Pharaoh was a Yahweh fan, and Judas stayed true. Muhammad in the Song of Solomon, boy, you made your prophet a fruit. Snuggled up with Solomon and came the man of Ozu. Without lies, Islam dies. Can't hide truth, can't spin those lies. Without lies, Islam dies. Dawah cries when the facts arise. You preach perfect text, but the proof ain't there. Half wash, even your readers don't care. Call the Bible corrupt, but still quote it loud. Trying to find Muhammad just to please your crowd. Song of Solomon, yeah, that's a fleshy fleck. You just wrote your prophet in the Solomon's bed. Then the man of Al-Zu came riding through all night long, and you say that's true. Jesus was a Muslim, the word plays dead. By that logic, Pharaoh bowed his head. You twist, you spin, but you can't disguise that every dawah claim is built on lies. Without lies, without lies, without lies, without
What's up, everybody? I've got Brother Maverick here. Have you all heard of Brother Maverick? You should have. Better. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on, brother. It's an honor.
Oh, yeah. It's great to have you here. He is an upcoming apologist. He's been crushing it on YouTube and X. I see your X posts all the time. They're awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. So, so you do call-in shows as well. And I was like, yeah, let's bring you up here and let's do some collab, because you're spitting fire lately, and we appreciate that. We need more of that. So
thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So good to have you here. So today we are taking up non-Christians. We've not been getting a lot of Muslims lately. I don't know what happened. They have the truth on their side, Brother Maverick. I assumed they would be here to just easily expose how wrong Christianity is, but they're just not showing up lately. I don't get it.
You know, And I think you and I spoke about this a little. You can claim victory all you want, but in the back of your mind, you know what's really going on, right? So you can make all the excuses. You can call us blasphemers, but at the end of the day, Muhammad's a human being. You can't blaspheme a human being, right? So.
Yeah. It's bad right now for the Muslims. I'm telling you, they've had a really bad couple of years, and it just keeps getting worse. That's why they're resorting to doxing, threats, harassment, because they know they can't refute our arguments. They know they can't. And so this is why they're doing this kind of stuff instead, because they're running out of actual things to do as Dawa collapses and crushes, man.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. But we do have some guests here. We got some agnostics, some atheists in the back room, people that are brave, ready to step up, actual people that can have conversations. And so we'll bring them up and talk to them. I'm more than happy to. So, yeah. Just remember, guys, when I do call-in streams, if you're a non-Christian, if we're doing something specifically on Islam or something, and you're a non-Christian, you're more than welcome to call in because we are always evangelizing. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We are here to call you to Christ, whether you like it or not. But, yeah. More than happy to do that. Let's take these quick first couple super chats. There we go. I said it. Let's get ready to rumble. God bless you, boys. Thank you so much. On day 3. Nice name. I like that. Turn it up.
Yeah.
He's
on day 3. On day 3 he goes live too. He just started too. He's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good.
Okay, that's good. I'll keep an eye out for him. I'm always the guy. Remember what we're doing here at Inspiring Philosophy. We are trying to put ourselves out of business by raising up so many other Christian apologists that there's no more donations for us because they're all going to far better guys than us. So hopefully one day I will happily take a job at Costco stocking shelves because there are too many Christian apologists. That's my goal, is to put myself out of business. And so, yeah, we're going to flood it. I want so many Christian apologists out there that we just dominate every platform to the point where there's just too many of us.
Amen.
What are these? Can someone explain to me what these gems are now?
Oh, yeah. So this is YouTube essentially trying to compete with TikTok, like the gifting. So essentially, I actually had to search this up. They can send this, and then at some point it translates into currency. It's just like,
okay.
Yeah, it is currency. You just don't know like what it's worth. You know what I mean? They do, but yeah, it's just this thing. Yeah. So they can send you like boxing gloves. They have a bunch of stuff. They even have a golden poop. It's really weird. Yeah, but they have it. Man,
I was just getting currency exchange down when like you get super chats, like people sending euro or Canadian dollars, aka Monopoly money. You know how it is. Yeah. And I finally was like getting that figured out. Now I got to figure out gems. Oh Lord.
Yeah. Oh,
hope y'all doing well. IP, any update on the GL court? No, I will not update you on that until how about this? Probably next week, you'll get an update. Okay, probably by next week. But I got to check things with everybody. I cannot guarantee that. I got to talk to the attorneys. I have to talk to Logic. We'll figure all that out. I'm not saying anything beyond what I can say, but don't worry. Thank you, son of God. We appreciate it. We got another 10 gems. He added 10 to the 800 he put in earlier, which I think translates to 42 cents. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Who knows?
How many gems? Okay. Does evolution conflict with death entering the world through sin? I don't remember any answer being in your evolution videos. Well, it's definitely in there. Maybe I should do a specific video on that. I should probably do that. So here's the thing on that is that no, if you actually go look at the great paper by Joshua John Van E called Death and the Garden, it's his dissertation. He points out that there was already death in Genesis 1. And we miss it. But when it says, for example, they can rule over the animals, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, that word for rule is very harsh. It's always used in the Bible to be like cruel, like you're able to do whatever you want. It's a harsh kind of ruling. In other words, God is giving animals to human for whatever purposes they need. It's not like a gentle ruling kind of thing. So also, if you look at Genesis 9, when you see that they're allowed to eat meat, even Philo of Alexandria said that's just restating the covenant that was given in Genesis 1. It's just giving it from the animal perspective, where Genesis 1 is stating it from the human perspective. So fear and dread will be on animals because we are ruling over them, and therefore we can eat them. So actually, it's a restating of that covenant. Therefore, they were given permission to eat meat in Genesis 1. Therefore, humans were allowed to eat meat, and there was death already in the garden. So there. We have 200 gems. I'm going to assume this translates to $800. Thank you so much for that. That makes sense to me. All right. So let's bring in our first guest. Agnostic, can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for having me. I would assume you are a Hindu.
Oh, man, that's close. I'm agnostic.
I knew that was my next guess. Okay. All right. So why are you not a Christian?
I think it's really easy to explain because if you go back to what Aristotle said, we are pretty much what we do. And that's a way oversimplification of the idea of the way you live your life is who you are. So if I am to be a Christian, I would do what Christians do. And I can think of 3 key examples that I want to go over with you that kind of exhibit that I'm not a Christian. And it'll make it clear. Would you like to hear them?
Well, I mean, like, I'm more interested into why you're not a Christian. Like, what?
Sure.
What is?
Well, because, like, if you were to say, like, are you a baseball player? Well, if I'm a baseball player, I play baseball. And then if you say you haven't played baseball, agnostic, in 20 years, I would say I'm not a baseball player. So if I am to be a Christian, I would follow the commands of the Lord. And I can think of specific ways I don't. And I wonder if you do. And I can go to these examples if you want. I think I'm not a Christian.
Give me an example.
Sure.
Here we go. Yeah.
So this is a hypothetical. So you and I are hanging out. And unfortunately, our friend Aaron, crazy guy, decides to collect up all the gold and decides to make an altar. He makes a golden calf. And then our friend Moses comes back and he's like, what's going on? Now, Aaron, he gets promoted to high priest, but we're told that our friends and family members who have dishonored God need to be blotted out, and we are to end their lives. Now, what I would do is I would run and I would say, this man is crazy. Moses is crazy. Which way do you lean? Would you follow what Moses said to do by blotting out your fellow brother and everybody?
Okay, so are we taking the actual historical example, or is this a hypothetical in a different possible world?
We can go to hypothetical if you like.
Okay,
what would you do in that scenario?
In this scenario, because it's not the historical Moses and the historical Aaron, I would not agree. But now let me give the caveat here. I would do it if it was the historical Moses, because we just saw God in action. We saw him give the 10 plagues, part the Red Sea, lead Israel as a pillar of fire or as a pillar of smoke. So God is visibly present there. So that's what I mean. There's a huge difference between like what you're talking about and what I'm talking about, because I would say there's plenty of evidence God exists. We just saw him. So therefore, I would do what he says.
So are you doing it out of fear or because you want to do it? Like, I'm just wondering why you're doing it. Are you like, I think this is a good thing that we are doing? Or is it like, I'd better obey this God?
Okay,
I already saw.
With the historical case about the golden calf incident. So I have a scholar friend, his name is Joel Carreco. God never commanded that slaughter. If you read his work, no, he didn't. He said he forgives Israel. Moses goes down and gets angry and causes the slaughter anyway. This is coming from Moses. It's a common theme in the Pentateuch of Moses lashing out because of his anger and doing things God never ordained.
But it says in Exodus 32:33, I have the Bible open right now, actual physical Bible for once. And the Lord said unto Moses, whoever has sinned against me, sorry, it's King James, him will I blot out of my book. So it sounds like, Lord.
What verse is it?
Exodus 32:33.
32:33. All right, I'm going to put it on the screen for everybody here. So this is this in the context of the golden calf?
Yes, it is. It's right after 32 has the golden calf. The start of it is when Aaron is building and collecting.
Okay, so Moses saw the people had broken loose, for Aaron had let them break loose, and then Moses stood at the gate of the camp. Who is on the Lord's side? Come with me. So here we see Moses acting. So then the next day, Moses said to his people, you have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I may make atonement for your sin. So Moses returned to the Lord and said, alas, this people has sinned a great sin. They have made for themselves God of golds. But now, if you will forgive their sin, but if not, please blot me out of your book that you have written. But the Lord said to Moses, whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. But now go, lead the people to a place about which I have spoken to you. I'm confused where this is God commanding a slaughter. He's saying he's just giving an if then, like if that happens, I'll take care of it, not you. He's kind of almost indirectly condemning Moses for thinking he had to do that.
Well, whether God commanded, it did happen. Moses said to go here and fro to each tent and end the lives of your, it says 3,000 died that night in verse 28. And then my next example, because it just, to me, gets worse and worse. And this is why I think I'm not a Christian, is because historically, I would not have done these things. If we go to a little further, kind of a parallel, with numbers. So
Numbers 31.
no, not numbers 31. Actually, maybe I went to the
Okay.
wrong one. I have numbers 15 marked right now. Maybe I need to double check. No, we're not doing the miscarriage or her thigh shall rot. Not that one. Numbers 31. I know that one well. I'm going to the man collecting sticks on the Sabbath. It might be numbers 15. I marked that. Maybe I did it wrong. But
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I mean, like, this is not the topic.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
Well, no,
okay,
this
so
is why I'm not a Christian, though. This is literally why I'm not a Christian. Because
God is mean.
No, it's not just mean. It's because I would not do these things. If I was there with Moses and Aaron and we found a man collecting sticks historically, like if I am there at this historic moment, we collect him, we bring him to Moses because they say they brought the man to Moses and Aaron and they said, what shall we do with this man? And then Moses said, the Lord says we shall take him before the town and end his life by stoning him. I'd say, I'm out of this. I'm out. This is not, I'd be like, this is crazy. And I can tell you what I think happened, because this all makes me think, what was actually happening? I can end with that if you want. I don't want to keep too much of your time. This is literally why I'm not a Christian. And I'll explain. It
Go
goes
ahead,
to
Maverick.
No,
Okay.
I'm going to let him finish. Yeah, go ahead.
my last thought on this, because I don't want to diverge too much, is Ananias and Sapphira in I might be mispronouncing those names in
Yeah.
Romans, right?
Acts. No, you're thinking Acts 5.
Yeah,
Acts 5. Yeah.
Acts 5. There we go. Two books nearly together. So, anyways, in that book, they come in after a sale of their land and are dishonest. Now, if we believe what happened in the Bible, they were struck down for lying. But if we're non-believers, what might have happened is that their lives were taken from them. And when I look at this through the lens of what probably happened, I think Moses was trying to keep his tribe together. And when they started to fracture, he was like, we're not fracturing. Anyone who tries to fracture shall be put to death. And that's the way I see these things, as man trying to have control, power, money, all these things. And that's why I'm not a Christian, because everything in the Bible screams to me people trying to control others and have power. That's why I'm not a Christian.
Okay. What power has anyone in Christianity, like nowadays, right? As far as pastors, church leaders, what power are they deriving by preaching the word of God, right? What positions of power? Okay, because last time I looked at, let's say, the American Senate, right? Actually, openly professing that you're a Christian is a good way to not get votes. So what power is it that you think is being asserted by people or being gained by people by trying to control behavior, as you say, right? Because essentially your position is, I don't believe God exists or the God of Christianity exists, or I wouldn't follow him. Therefore, I kind of reinterpret every supernatural event as a human power grab. That's what I'm getting from you. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what power do you think Christian leaders have gotten from anyone in trying to ensure that the objective moral standard of God is being followed?
Well, first off, I just want to address, I pulled up religious affiliation of the United States Senate. It's 58% Protestant, which is the vast majority, Baptist 11, Presbyterian 12, Evangelical, Lutheran. I don't even see non-religious on here. There might be, I think, one or two Muslim people. Episcopalian. The vast majority of people are religious. So you look at preachers, like you said, where are they getting power? The power comes from the congregation. You look at Joel Osteen. You look at the people who are advisors to Trump. I mean, these people have a lot of power, wealth, money. They have mega churches with tons of land, tons of resources.
I mean,
Paula, what's her name? Go ahead. The people, these people have the president's ear.
My whole
That's
thing
power.
is this is so relevant to the overall thing. I mean, like, if Christianity is, we're appealing to consequences here.
Sure.
Like if Christianity is true, okay, but we don't go, oh my goodness, I think God is mean, therefore Christianity can't be true. This is appealing to consequences.
Well, it's
I mean, even if your understanding is right of these things, I mean, like, here's the way I look at this. Let me just give you my perspective on some of these passages you brought up. Okay. When you see the visible presence of God, like it's unlike today. Like, we don't have a pillar of fire commanding, but when that is, when you're doing that, you have more than enough evidence that God is visibly present there. And therefore you should be doing what he says. If you're saying to the pillar of fire, no, I don't want to do what you say, even though you're right there, that changes the circumstances. I think God is well within his right to end life when he sees fit, especially considering he's omniscient, can see all possible futures and can go, well, if I leave Ananias and his wife alive, for example, Ananias and his wife alive, that's going to lead to some problems down the road. He's got every prerogative to do that given his perspective.
Mhm.
But I think when it comes down to it, and I'll be quick on this, these are just men, often men, claiming that God did these things. We don't know that God struck down Ananias and Sapphira. We don't know that God spoke to Moses.
Let me throw you a bone.
Good.
I agree. From an agnostic perspective, yes. That's why we bring up evidence to Christianity is true. We bring up the resurrection argument. If Jesus rose from the dead and God is real, would this be a problem for you?
Yes, and I can explain why. Because it is logically possible that Jesus rose from the dead, and also that people wrote false things in the Bible, like Moses was not actually told by God to end the lives of those people. So it's possible two things can be true. Jesus rose from the dead, and Moses chose to end the lives of those people.
It's not a question of possibility. It's a question of probability. I mean, like, if Jesus rose from the dead and confirmed the scriptures, we have good reason to trust him.
I personally think that the scriptures, this goes a little bit of a tangent right here, but I think the scriptures, as we can see through kind of our lack of, I think Bart Ehrman puts it well, that we don't know what the originals said. The scriptures are basically a big mystery. How did they originate? There's about 1 billion Q theories, like Q plus, Q1, Q2.
Can I try to give you some quick evidence here for the reliabilities of the scripture? So do you know anything about onomastic congruence?
I do not.
Okay. I'm going to give you an argument here that is going to be one of the most powerful arguments for the reliability of the gospel. So pay attention, everyone. This is a good argument to use. So this was a paper published 2 years ago where they actually put math behind the gospels. Okay. It's called Why Name Popularity is a Good Test of Historicity. Now, this is only the beginning. They're already working on another paper to strengthen these results. So what they basically are looking at is I can show you in the chart right here. It's like, so we know from the names in the ancient world, how many people were named Simon on average, Joseph, Eliezer. We get a good distribution of namings here in something like this. So Simon is the most popular name. Joseph is a popular name. Ishmael, Hanan, Jacob, these are not popular names. So we have a naming distribution here. Now, when we look at the Gospels and Acts, we should see a naming distribution that aligns with the naming distribution of the ancient world. To give you an example, let's say agnostic. I told you got to write a book about some guy living in Georgia in 1960. Could you get all the people he interacted with and get the right naming distribution if you were making fiction? Probably not. So they put this to the test. If the gospel authors are making a fiction, they would not have the right naming distribution. They would not have the right onomastic congruence. So they did that, and they also looked at Josephus. They looked at modern novels, and they looked at like apocryphal texts. So let me go down and show you the results. They ran a goodness of fit test. This was an actual test. Here, as you can see. So they looked at Gospel and Acts, Josephus novels. They looked at a random distribution. They found that apocrypha gospels and modern novels like Ben-Hur, The Spear, 0%. They could not get an accurate naming distribution. They came in at 0%. Josephus got about like 6 or 7%, which was considered really good. His naming pattern in his own works aligned with the naming distribution of first century Palestine at a 7%, which was considered good. What do you think the Gospels got?
Well, it had a high enough value to fit.
Was it around 7% with Josephus, do you think, or higher?
I'm just seeing that they passed the goodness of fit.
Yes. So the Gospels got 86% compared to their Josephus's 7%. That's how accurate their naming distribution was. Now, if the Gospels were fiction, they would align more with what we see with novels or the random distribution. They don't. They're far even better than Josephus.
Well, they're showing the second row right there, the 0.0034. That'd be a non-fit.
The second row?
That's a non-fit.
That's name origin, though. That's different.
Name origin.
This is name frequency is what matters here, the onomastic congruence. And by the way, this category is for the Jewish diaspora. So the names didn't even align with the naming patterns in the Jewish diaspora. They align with the Jews in Palestine.
And where do we get the records of the Jews in Palestine? I'm just wondering where the source data comes from.
This Alan, she was a scholar. She went through and she compiled all the names from like inscriptions, gravestones, that is, ancient works, to get like her database is huge in terms of how many names she was able to find throughout the ancient world. So it's a very good comparison.
With such a high value, it's interesting to me. It must mean, and like you said, it's because it'd be a multinomial distribution. So I'd be interested to read this paper and see what it shows. But to me, that shows that, and she didn't break it down by Gospels and Acts. So she did Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and Acts.
Well, this is the paper authors, Luke Vandewey and Jason Wilson.
Okay, they did that, and then she collected
Yeah, they're using her database.
That's interesting. I like that she gave me something to look into. That's appreciated.
Well, why don't you go ahead, Maverick? Yeah.
No, I was going to say agnostic because I wanted to address an earlier point that he made, which I think is an interesting point, but it kind of highlights a fundamental misunderstanding of people on the outside and the way that they look at Christianity. And I think that in a lot of ways, because so many of us avoid trying to outwardly attack other Christians, it means that we agree with whatever they do. And the reason I'm saying that is because you appeal to people like Joel Osteen. Yeah, Joel Osteen is not prosperity pastors, right? Prosperity people. These are people that we openly say that's not right. Okay. And when you look at the message that's being put forth by people like Joel Osteen and the things done by people like Paula White, we actually cringe and openly say, this is what you are not supposed to do. Okay. For example, Paula White is not supposed to be the head of a church. In a setting where there are men, a woman is not supposed to be the head of a church. I'm sorry, right? Joel Osteen preaches a gospel that is completely contradictory to what the true gospels actually say. So when you appeal to people like that, what you're doing is you're highlighting a fundamental misunderstanding of what Christianity truly is and someone who is simply claiming that they are Christian. Those are two completely different things. That's why when Matthew 7:21, when the Messiah says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom, it's not because he doesn't know them. He knows who they are, but he has no relationship with them, which is why he further goes on to substantiate, we did good works in your name. We cast out demons in your name. Yeah, but you never knew me, right? You did things in my name, but it only benefited you. So what I would do if I was you is I would look at the difference between people saying they're Christian and actually being Christian. And then the example that you used about people in political government, brother, a religious affiliation is simply that. Okay, there is a very big difference between a senator saying he's a Christian and a senator actually being a Christian, because I guarantee you their politics and their religious affiliation will almost never match. Okay, so you have to understand that you just hearing that someone is a Christian, that doesn't truly mean that they are representatives of Christ, of Christianity. All right, so that's something that I wanted to, because I think that you say Joel Osteen and Paula White, and you automatically assume, see Christianity. Absolutely not. Those people are not affiliated with the true message of the gospel.
Well, what you've stated right there, I think it's James that talks about you shall know them by their fruit. And it also says at the start of James, a fountain that cannot exist that could bring forth both bitter waters and sweet water, like one that puts down man and praises God. I am totally butchering the paraphrase of that.
No, I know where you're coming from. Yeah, I know where you're coming from.
It's in the Gospel of Matthew. I for a second you said James, and I'm like, wait a minute.
No,
am I wrong?
James, is it not? It talks about the tongue at the start of James, right? Is it not James? Yeah. Was it Jude? Wait.
James starts off talking about people who have influence. Yeah, people who have influence being judged harsher because they are in a position of influence and they are in a position to teach. And those who will corrupt the word of God will be judged harsher. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but James starts off that way.
Well, I'll give you one last reply. Thank you for the and I'll let you get on to the next person. I really think, as much as I don't believe, I still think there's good things in the Bible. I agree with you that Paula White and Joel Osteen are not good examples. My mom always told me God is love. My whole family is Christian besides me. I went to Baptist school growing up. I have a lot of Christianity in my life. My point being, when I look to the message of the Bible, I know you went to 2 Timothy there for a moment with the preachers, but I look at Galatians and, Galatians 5, I believe, the fruit of the Spirit. But then people forget that there's the works of the flesh. And when I look at what's going on, especially with all the deals in our country, kind of the inside dealing. Ann Coulter said that the Trump, her words, not mine, that the Trump administration is the most corrupt of any administration. I think of what it says the love of money is in the Bible. And I think Christians need to start considering a more holistic vote when they vote, because to just vote Republican is not always voting the best person. I voted Republican, but I try to vote people, blessed are the meek, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, blessed are those who mourn. There's so many more things we should value. And the greatest commandment is love thy God and love thy neighbor. That's what the Bible says. So I think we should look into more than pro-life. That's all I hear people vote on these days. And I'm like, well, you're just selling your vote to anyone who's willing to say they're pro-life. And something tells me they do that and then they don't care. But that's my thoughts.
Anyway, we appreciate you coming, man. If you want to check
Thanks.
out more about gospel reliability, we have this series on the channel, The Reliability of the Gospels. We cover the naming stuff here in this video, the shocking truth about biblical names. I highly recommend you check that out to get more data on that stuff. But you also have the study as well you can read. But
Yeah.
thanks for coming, man. We'll talk to you later. Please come back sometime in the future.
Have a
Thanks,
good one,
guys. Bye.
Have a good one. Yeah, it sounded more, just in my opinion, guys, it sounded like for him, it was more of an attempt to like redefine Christianity as this kind of social ethic. But in order to do that, he's like avoiding the central truth, right, of the claims of the faith itself. So it's very weird. That's why there's a lot of apologists that I run into who agnostics are very difficult for them to speak to, because it's almost like they can kind of shift their position on anything at any time, right? Because it's like, I don't really know what I believe.
Yeah. Just so you know, I see some guys in the back room. It says device not connected. This guy that says truth. So truth, if you got your devices connected, we'll bring you up. Random Thoughts, are you there? Random Thoughts. You got to unmute yourself if you're there.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
All right, go back out, come back in. We'll bring you up next.
Yeah, I can hear
Let me
him.
Check.
I hear
check.
you.
Random, you may have to select your audio devices and select a different audio device if you can hear me or if you're listening on
Just
the
go back
stream.
out, refresh the page. It might work. Yeah.
Okay.
Marks, are you there?
Hello, Mike. Hello, Maverick.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, hello. My English is not good, so I try to talk, but I may fumble because English is not my first language.
No worries, brother. We'll take it at your pace. No worries.
Yeah. So why are you not a Christian?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think, like, because of atheism. How can I put this? Like, I can formulate an argument, which rather than
Are you an
argue-
atheist?
It's interesting. Like, how can you define atheism? Like, if you define it,
Do you
Define
believe
the-
that? Do you believe that there is a God?
I believe the general concept of like the Christian or the Islamic God is not like doesn't make sense like from my point of view. So that
So would you consider yourself agnostic?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
In that
Okay, so you said you can make a convincing argument against the God of Christianity, because the arguments against the God of Islam, that's a completely separate conversation, which I would agree with you.
Basic
What argument are you making?
so first of all, like the God of Islam and Christianity and even like Judaism could be classified under like could be considered as same. I think like
As
there's
what?
no- could be considered as same. Like there's not that much difference apart from like incarnation in Christianity. That ultimately they are same. Like all the omni properties and that thing.
Okay.
But
Well, so here's what we'll do. We will approach it under the guise of you just arguing against the God of Christianity, because I could spend weeks highlighting the differences between the God of Christianity and Islam, right?
Amen.
So what I don't want to do is I don't want to get into the weeds because you have a baseline misunderstanding of Islam being an Abrahamic faith, because it's not. So if you want to argue against the God of Christianity, that's fine, no issues, but you can't mix the two, right? Because you're going to be conflating categories and that conversation won't be productive. Does that make sense?
sure, but if I may say this,
Sure.
do you know like Catholic Church says that Muslim and Christian worship and adore the same one true God. So
I'm sorry?
Well,
The
let's
Catholic-
let's just move past it. What is your what is?
Right.
I don't want to.
What is the contention? Yeah. Yeah.
What
Exactly.
is,
Yeah.
why aren't you not a Christian, basically?
Right.
So I'm not good at philosophy, but still I would try my best to articulate this. If my articulation fails, you can help me
Sure.
better articulate this. Sure. So, argument one, premise one: pure being is pure nothingness. Premise two: Christian God is identified as pure being. Conclusion: Christian God is identical to pure nothingness. And I can justify premise one if I can read from.
Yeah. Go ahead. Justify it, and we'll get into it.
Sure. Imagine I have an apple. Let's say it has a red color, but it doesn't have to have red color. It can also be green, because it is an accidental property, not an essential property. So if we take in consideration all the phenomenological character like color, shape, size, time, size, and treat them as accidental properties, then we can imagine apple absent of all these categories. But if we can imagine a thing without any determination, it would have no color, shape, quantity, quality, relation, motion, place, time, substance, accident. It would be identical to pure nothingness. In this sense, in this precise sense, pure being would be identical to pure nothingness, because undeterminate, no quality, distinction, or relation.
Okay, brother. Let me. So here's the thing. I honestly, I don't know. Actually, think I know you're making a fundamental category mistake. Okay.
Yeah.
You're starting with an apple, right? Which is a contingent created object. Okay. And then you're trying to reason from that to the uncreated creator. So you're already in completely different categories. Those aren't even in the same category of existence. Okay. So your apple, the apple has accidental properties as you highlighted, right? It's red today. Other apples can be green. This one can turn colors, right? We know apples, whatever, right? It's large, it's small. Those properties can change while the apple remains an apple. The issue with what you're saying is that God is not a physical object with accidental properties. You're equivocating between a created being and being itself. That's the issue. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I understand this one. The point, earlier point was, so basically, the being in itself, or the being apart from all this indeterminacy, has no content. Like, to have intelligibility or to understand something, it has to have limitation, determination, to make sense of it. And if you abstract this being in itself as isolated abstracted thing, then it has no content whatsoever. It is.
Okay. Here, I mean, here's my thing. I'm an idealist. What you're talking about is actually something called bundle theory. Do you know what that is?
So I'm so basically, I know idealism only, I know 2-3 persons, I know Fichte, Schelling, and Hegel.
Okay, so bundle theory is basically the idea that physical objects are a collection, a bundle of properties. So like shape, roundness, taste, color. And then if you take all that away, what's left with the physical property? I'd agree with you as an idealist, but what's fundamental is consciousness. And so this has no bearing on God, who is a conscious being, which is what Maverick was trying to get at here. You're just talking about physical objects. We could concede that physical objects, I would definitely concede that physical objects are bundles of properties. That doesn't change what consciousness is or beings, because we would say there's still an essence to you as a being that is beyond the physical, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know this, but further the point, if I may, it may be that this can be a being, but the point is this being, so how can I put this? It's difficult to explain, but can you see this diagram?
Kind of, and yeah, A, E, yeah.
So you can see the circle A.
Yeah, yep, yeah.
Basically, the circle A exists in relation to a not A. So everything that exists exists by differentiation or othering. So if you say this, there is a primal consciousness or priming being without a difference, it cannot make sense, because it would have no content, or it would be identical to nothing. You can
no, it'd be identical to the primary the prime mover is identical to himself. God is identical to his own essence. So that's how you get out of that.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're
But
saying that everything exists by differentiation, essentially, right? Well, everything in instantiation does. That's what I said to you from the beginning. You haven't demonstrated that the uncreated creator does. You're just asserting things about physical properties of instantiation, right? But the problem that you're not understanding that, again, you are still operating in a huge category error. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, right? And I don't know if you understand that you're confusing epistemology with ontology.
And
You're muted, brother.
you're muted, man. And
if I can read this, if I may. The Hegelian twosome rather designate a split which cleaves the one from within, not in two parts. The ultimate split is not between two halves, but between something and nothing. Between the one and the void of its place, it is the split, the opposition of two species conceit with opposition between the genus itself and its species. It is the same element which encounters itself in oppositional determination, or in other words, the opposition between the one and the outside is reflected back into the identity of the one. So this is Slavoj Žižek, less than nothing, and basically it argues that the primal one, or the primordial one, or the one of the God or the being cannot be one, because to have one, it has to have like distinction. But if it has
that
phase,
doesn't follow. There's no way that follows. I mean, we would say that the God is not parts, or like it's so like this is just, there's a lot of assumptions here that are just not justified.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's hard to hear you, man, and we're not really following.
Yeah, it sounds like he's quoting Zizek, I want to say. I think.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
sounds
sure.
familiar.
Is that who you're quoting, Marx? Yeah, I knew it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's committing the exact fallacy that you're saying, IP. He's not. Yeah.
but basically I was trying to say that everything that exists is like a difference, and one cannot be one, because if has to be one, it has to have differentiation, because like how can you make sense of it? Like
You need to justify that claim. That's a positive claim you made. I see no justification to believe that.
Right.
just-
That's what I told you earlier, Marx. You're making assertions. You haven't defined it or substantiated. You're just making assertions. You're quoting somebody that it sounded intelligent, and that's fine, but you're in a massive category. You're trying to equate God's existence, the metaphysics of God, with an apple.
like the apple has like existence, like it has being, and like God has being.
Is the
So
apple
that's the-
created? Is the apple created?
Yeah.
Is God created?
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
But like what difference does it make? The argument is that like being abstracted from all determinants has no content whatsoever. Like it has no relations, no content.
You're saying what difference does it make that the uncreated God doesn't exist metaphysically the way that an apple does? That's your question?
No, the point is like an apple has all these qualities, and apart from all these qualities, this beingness abstracted has like no content whatsoever. Like it has.
We're
no
just
content.
going in circles now, man.
Yeah.
We've already
Yeah,
explained
I
that's
don't-
bundle
yeah.
theory, but hey, why don't you think more about it? Come back. We'll talk to you in the future. You've been very respectful, but this
Yeah, he's a
nice
guy.
You're a nice guy, man, Marx. We appreciate it, but I do want to
think
get to
that-
some other things.
I think that he didn't get much past what he was reading, and then when he got an answer for it, he had absolutely no way to just, he just kind of kept repeating the same thing.
Let me bring up Muslim here. How you doing there?
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Good. So I'm assuming you converted to Islam.
My understanding is reverted, but you'd have the right idea. I didn't start there.
Yeah, I will refuse to say revert because I don't believe that's a thing. But you're fine to say it about yourself. So why did you convert to Islam then, man?
That's a good question, because it would also answer why not Christianity. My parents, they didn't raise me. My father died when I was young, and my mom left before I could remember her. So I didn't have, call it hey, here's the example. Because I have 3 young kids, and everything you do is an example. But I didn't have any to draw from. So when I started to ask, what's the truth about this place? What's happening here? It started late in life. I went into the Marines. Don't agree with call it actions and stuff, and then it's like, well, this
I'm
needs
sorry, you say
to have
you didn't agree with what?
with well, if you've read the book War's a Racket, just saying that lets you know my 2 cents on how I feel about how we use the military today.
Okay,
Is
Muslim. So that's interesting because as a veteran, I would then ask you, and not to get too much off, I just want one answer,
Sure,
and
yeah.
you can keep saying what you were saying. You joined an institution of war,
yeah.
knowing that's what you were doing, and then decided after you'd already been through boot and everything else that then you disagreed.
No,
with-
this was after I got out.
Okay.
Like when I'm doing like introspection and then reflection, I wasn't no high ranking guy. I think you can kind of tell. I just grew up, no one there to guide me. I went rough
That-
and they helped me unrough.
Good.
But then when I'm asking like, hey, well, why were we doing X, Y, or Z? Then the reasonings, they're not all virtuous. And I'm not a black and white guy. We absolutely need the military. You need to have folks that are yes sir, but you need to have folks guiding them. Anyways, without
like-
getting off. Yeah, good.
Yeah, but so why convert to Islam? There must have been some
Right.
really, because like
Yes.
I remember in my early days talking to Muslim missionaries, basically Dawa guys, and these were not like the modern Dawa guys. They're very nice, they're polite, and so I just started asking questions like, "What's the evidence for Islam?" And then they give me evidence, and I'm like, "Huh? That's not
Right.
evidence." So what convinced you that Islam is the truth?
This is a great question. When I use the tools that call it the people today, and if I look around, it seems like more atheists than not. They say science, maths, physics, these tools, these will grant you truth that you seek. So I apply them, yeah, and what ends up finding is like, okay, Big Bang, who's the banger? That to me is like, oh, there is a creator. This like
Yeah.
makes logical sense.
We agree.
All right. And then now it's like getting okay, well, what are the details about the creator? Because I don't have anyone to ask. I don't have dad to ask. I don't have mom. And growing up like criminal, I also am like inherently completely untrustworthy. It's got to be like, hey, give me your evidence. And then I got to make my mind up. I actually am almost not curious about what you have to say. I need to know why and such. Okay, well, the evidence starts to come in. These tools I mentioned. Some of the tools science talks about is when you describe this place, it's like all the possibilities are already here. So, like the creator he already put all the things that could happen in existence. This also like makes sense of like, all right, that means I'm not here meaningless, because that means there was some sort of design that occurred. It wasn't random. And okay, so this gives me more like, well, Christianity is far closer to me in culture because this entity, Jesus, and these things, when people would talk about them, I recognize them. I'm like, okay, I kind of know what you mean. But then I asked, like, well, why are you saying that name? Because I put Muslim, but my name's Jeremy. I'm like,
Okay.
is that what came out of his mom's mouth? And well, the answer is no. It's like, okay, well, I think I know who you mean then.
Okay,
And
but
then-
we're not going anywhere. What is the evidence that convinced you of Islam? Were there scientific miracles in the
sure.
Quran? Like
Yeah.
what? Because
I
I'll
see,
tell
I
you
see.
flat out, if you said, "Hey, Mike, why are you a Christian?" I'll be like, there is a overwhelming historical evidence for the reliability of the Gospels and that Jesus physically rose from the dead and walked out of the tomb. Therefore, Christianity is true. Look, I said that in like 20 seconds.
Mhm.
Why is Islam true? Go.
That's my
No,
well,
problem.
come here. That's my daughter. The way it opens up, that's all right, love. That's what it's for. If you win, you can enjoy one with him.
Really?
Mhm.
Thank you.
So if you the very opening, the way the Quran mentions, well, who is this entity that's you're referring to now? And it'll be the Lord of all worlds. I talked about the science before. All these tools talk about how this place is described as world and worlds and world lines. And then, so to me, it's like, well, this makes sense here, if that makes sense. And
No.
So
Go ahead,
yeah,
Maverick.
so no, so Muslim. Here's the thing: you're essentially saying that because one of the opening ayahs of the Quran is talking about a multiplicity of worlds or planets, therefore that immediately made sense to you. Is that kind of the lines that you're on?
yeah, because I went
Okay.
from call
Now-
it atheist to
Uh-huh.
like, if I may, just
Go
because when you say also like Christian, I also think, well, right, we call this entity the Christ, and there's only one entity attributable with
Okay,
this. Yeah?
Muslim. Let's stay on Islam though. Let's stay on Islam because what I
Oh,
don't
sure.
want is every time we ask you a question, you start going to something else. Let's track the one conversation for now. Okay.
Sure.
Now, you think that because it says worlds, it says, okay, this is scientifically plausible because we know that Earth is not the only planet. Is that
Oh,
a fair
negative.
representation of what you're saying, or you're saying of all worlds? What when you see the word worlds, what are you
When I
thinking
say
that it's
worlds,
referring to? Uh-huh.
Right. I think it means all the multiverses. I don't think there's a single multiverse. I think there's many of them. And I think if you were maybe not careful with language enough, you could say what you're doing in the, and this is what, when we look at it.
Well, hold
like-
on, Muslim. First of all, let me, because I am a calculus major with a minor in physics, so I want to correct something very quickly for you. Okay, the theory of multiverses is a theory. It is not an established fact the way that there are other planets. That's why I was asking what you were saying. So if your insinuation is that Muhammad was talking about the multiverse theory, that's not even remotely supported, not only in the English, but in the original Arabic.
You still
Jeremy,
there?
you're breaking up. I think you're gonna have to stop walking around because you're losing a lot of connection. Every time you walk, you're lagging a lot.
Yeah. My goodness. I mean,
Worlds and you know, guys, and IP. I'm sorry. When the Quran says worlds, that it had already been known throughout. I don't even know how many cultures already, way before Muhammad, that there were other planets in space. Many.
but the Quran doesn't even get that right.
Exactly. So that's what I thought he was getting at, but he wasn't even. He's going into a multiverse theory.
Hang on. Let me put this up here just so we can cover it. I'll get my window up here. Here's where I want to go. Logos, Surah 86:18. That Dul Qarnayn, Alexander the Great, guys, reached the place of the setting of the sun. He found it setting in a muddy spring and found a people thereabout.
Yeah.
So according to the Quran, the sun sets in a muddy pool. And if you're like, but that's not, it appeared to be setting in a muddy pool. Sunan Abu Dawud 402. Great. Sahih chain 4002. Allah and his apostle know best. He said the sun sets in a spring of warm water. So
And when they try to say it's metaphorical, it can't be because he provided a location and said, and there were people there. There was a group of people. Well, that obliterates your attempt at stating it's metaphorical. I don't know if he's going to come back up. I don't know if he lagged out.
I don't know, man. We were just getting nowhere. I was getting ready to
I
kick
know.
him anyway. I was like, can you make a point? Like, again, if you ask me real quick, why are you a Christian? Boom, Jesus rose from the dead. There's so much evidence to support it. I'm ready to go. Like Muslims, it's like, well, there's a verse and it says this thing and I translate it this way. And wow, how could they have known? My goodness, shut up. I'm sorry.
Listen, I agree. This is why it's so difficult now to get Muslims to come in and you say, why should I be a Muslim? And then they talk about the majority answers I get now is because the Trinity makes no sense. If you ask me why you should be a Christian, I'm not going to talk about Muhammad. I don't need to talk about anything else but Jesus Christ, right? I don't know.
Let me
don't know,
preview
man.
something I have coming out this weekend because you just reminded me of something I want to show everybody. I'm not going to show the video because I don't want to spoil it.
Right.
But I'm going to show something real fast from this just so you guys can see.
How many Qurans are there?
How many Qurans are there? Well, this is what's coming, guys. It's one Quran, but mode 1 isn't mode 2, and mode 3 isn't mode, so ready for that.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Let's bring in Michael. First of all, amazing name, incredible name, one of the best names ever. There are names, and then there's the name Michael. So you got unmute yourself whenever you're available. Freaking Michael, man, unmute yourself. Michael, this is your set. You're making us look bad.
Hello.
There you are. I heard you.
I think. Hold up. 1 second. I accidentally clicked something in your guys' settings. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you. You're
We
fine,
can hear
man.
you.
Where are my earbuds?
I'm gonna do a super chat right now.
Mhm.
Zut equals kryptonite. Yes, very true.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you, Randy, for gifting 10 Inspiring Class memberships. Much appreciated. By the way, guys, all right, I'm gonna mute him now until he figures out his life. Michael, when you're ready, unmute yourself. By the way, guys, at the end of the
Hello?
stream, it's gonna. Yep.
I'm
One
sure
second,
you guys
Michael.
can hear me, but I can't hear you guys. When I unmuted
All right.
myself, it gave me the option to go to speakerphones or default, and I think I picked the wrong one. If anything, let me back out, and please let me back in when you can.
Yeah, I will. I'll do super chats while you do that. So just come back out, come back in, Michael. Refresh the page. You should be good. By the way, guys, Brother Maverick is linked in the title of this video. Go subscribe to him now. There's 900 of you watching right now. And if you don't, the terrorists will win. So go subscribe to him. He's going to be live on his channel as soon as this is over. It's going to redirect to his. So make sure you're all ready for that. So be
Appreciate it.
sure to subscribe. All right,
Appreciate
Michael,
it.
are you there? Son of a biscuit eating bulldog. Thank you for the answer. A video on it would be awesome. What answer did I give? I don't even remember. Oh, this on evolution. Yeah. I'll try to figure that out.
Oh,
Still waiting for
okay.
you and Redeem Zoomer to have a macro evolution debate with Donnie and Matt from Standing for Truth. That's not what I'm really focusing on right now. I don't really want
Oof,
to
yeah.
dedicate time to that. I think we beat that dead horse. Is it plausible to say that pride was the first sin to enter the world? Thank you for your amazing work. God bless. Yes, I would say it's the first sin to enter the world. Yes. All right, let's see if Michael can come up now. All right, Michael, I see your feet. They look nice.
You got that pedicure.
I'm trying to shut off the camera.
Well, it's not
shut
working.
Yeah, I know it's not. This sucks.
Well, you look beautiful.
All
Don't
right.
worry about it.
Thank you. All right. So recently, I got in an argument with a famous atheist online. I called into one of his shows. One of my first times doing that. This is about my second time.
Michael,
And,
what do you believe, brother? What is your worldview?
I am an atheist, but I'm also pro-religion, particularly pro-Christian.
Okay.
Okay.
So I called into his show because the topic was, do we need God? And I personally believe society does need God. I have my own stances on God, but I don't care to get into that right now. I'm particularly asking for advice from you gentlemen. IP, I've watched a ton of your debates, particularly on Islam. Love your stance on it. And Brother Maverick, this is my first time ever viewing you, and I think you're doing a stellar job right now in this live stream.
Thank you, brother.
So-
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, sir. So I'm here for some advice on how to deal with atheists, at least in convincing them not to be so malice towards religion. If you guys can entertain that, it's in a stance, not from necessarily a Christian stance, but from separate from a religious stance.
Go ahead, Maverick, and then I'll follow up.
Separate from a religious stance? So you want to teach atheists not to be so callous towards God in general or the God of Christianity? Because those are separate conversations.
To be not so malice towards, well, if we can go with Christianity, and the reason why I'll go with Christianity is because I'm a Westerner, just like you guys. I come from a society that the foundation of the society is Christian values. Mm-hmm. So I would rather an argument for Christianity through a separate from a religious argument, just to help me out, because I got a lot of people in my life and who aren't so pro-religious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that the approach that I've always seen from Inspiring Philosophy is a good one, where you kind of approach it from an intellectual standpoint of history, right? You approach it with the stance of probability, right? Very common questions like, why would the apostles be willing to suffer such gruesome deaths as they did to spread the word of God, to spread Jesus as God, right? You look at the hostile attestations outside of the Bible, people like Tacitus, people like Josephus, who couldn't have cared less about Jesus Christ, but still were very clear about what was going on in their culture. But you also have to remember, Michael, that there is actually something going on at the spiritual level with people like that. Okay. IP, if I could
agree with that.
If I could share my screen with you for a second, let me see where I got it here. Entire screen right here. I have it up, so I'll share that. I always try to repeat this to myself, and I'll read it real quick. This is 1 Corinthians 2, verses 13 and 14. And we impart this in words not taught by human wisdom, but taught by the Spirit, interpreting spiritual truths to those who are spiritual. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned. Now, that's very important, Michael, because you have to remember that God is making it clear to you that these people literally do not have the ability to understand the things of God because they don't have the spiritual discernment to do so. So prayer is a huge thing, even though I know that's not something you'll probably be doing, but to anyone who's listening, right? IP, if I could for like 60 seconds, I used to fall into this category. I was never an atheist. I was one of these self-proclaimed Christians who I swore up and down I was really a Christian, and I didn't need church. I didn't need God. I didn't need to read the Bible. I'm a good person. I used to say this. I used to actually say this. I'm a good person. I don't bother people. I don't do things to people. I have a job where I help people, right? I'm not stealing. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. So I'm a good person. I didn't know that the Bible said that my righteous deeds are but menstrual rags in compared to the holiness of God, right? So the only way that you could really teach these guys to view Christianity and the God of the Bible as one who is worth following is by, like I said earlier, through the historical evidence that shows through all probability that Jesus Christ is God, right? And with a lot of prayer, brother, a lot of prayer. My wife prayed for me for over 10 years. 10 years. And I finally one day felt the Holy Spirit. It's going to be a combination of things, right? You're going to have to know the history. You're going to have to present to them who Jesus Christ really was. You're going to have to show them what the early church said. You're going to have to show them the accounts. You're going to have to show them the hostile attestations. But more than that, you're going to have to lead by example, showing them Christ in your own life and through constant prayer, man. There is no cookie cutter answer because no two atheists are the same. No two people are the same. Does that make sense?
I appreciate your answer. Brother. Thank you very much. It's very inspiring.
Here's what I would say. Just watch this video here. Secularism is destroying the world. And then use the points in there to show that, yeah, secularism actually leads to... It's on the channel. Yeah, I posted 8 months ago. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty... I go over a bunch of actual data sets showing that there are issues in secularism that Christianity fixes in our society, like declining birth rates, charity, authoritarianism. So Christianity is vital for the West, is my point in this video.
Well, you know what? I'd appreciate that video because I have been watching a lot of stuff on secular humanism, and I have my disagreements on that. The person who I actually had a debate with or called into their show, however, is a pretty popular secular atheist. And my stance essentially was I'm taking the stance that religion is overall positive for society, arguably because society developed with religion. Society may have not even developed without religion, without the concept of God. We might not have the technology we have nowadays. It's what brought us out of the Stone Age, in my opinion. And I was making the stance that if society is cohesive in one or a dominant religious framework, instead of being diverse in the religious framework, then society would be more cohesive. People would get along together because they would have a shared moral value system. And essentially, this famous secular humanist, their argument against me was that I was arrogant, that I was pompous, saying that other people are too stupid to figure out morality, when that's not what I was saying. I literally made the argument to him that most people in their life don't have time to think about philosophy or their moral values. So it's easy to give a moral guideline, such as a religion. Particularly, I would suggest the Bible to most people. I would say, hey, go straight to the Bible. That's the best moral guideline.
Well, we appreciate you coming, Michael. We're going to talk to people about the topic, but thanks for coming. Hope that helps. And let's bring back up Muslim. You're back. Jeremy, is that you? Jeremy?
Hey, how's it going?
There you are. Okay, good to hear you.
Oh, my
I was
Lance.
worried. So,
No,
okay.
it's okay. That was like, oh, sorry, my phone died. I was like waiting out in the sun for a while. I'm sure you saw. I was just getting baked out there. Sorry about that.
You were talking earlier about how the Quran gets scientific facts right, is what you were saying, correct?
No, that's not what I said. I simply stated that when I read that, I was like, wait, I've heard this before, because I hadn't read the Bible or any of these things yet. You see what I mean?
Here's my question. If I could show you a scientific error in the Quran, in the Sunnah, would that be a point against the truth of Islam?
Yes, but the same thing. It actually, I have something to perhaps share with you that can answer like a lot of different things. It's my own personal work. It's not like, oh, here's this surah, or because those Sunnah.
I honestly would just rather focus on what the Quran teaches.
Sure,
because that should be the basis of your faith. But
right.
Here, let me go to this.
Okay.
So I'm going to just read you. This is Surah 37. This is what Allah is saying. Indeed, we have adorned the lowest heaven with the stars for decoration. Now, what are they for? What are the stars for? For giving light, heat? No, for protection from every rebellious devil. They cannot listen to the highest assembly, for they are pelted from every side, driven away, and they will suffer an everlasting torment. But whoever manages to steadily eavesdrop is pursued by a piercing flame. In other words, the Quran thinks that stars protect demons from getting into heaven to hear the plans of Allah. And if he catches them, he throws a shooting star at them. This is what the commentators say on eavesdropping demons. That's scientifically inaccurate. That's not what stars are for. Therefore, the Quran is an error.
When I go and look and ask, well, what are these scientific notions? Where did you even get the notion of star? Right? You're saying, hey, look, it's saying something about a star. And then I'm like, well, what is our basis of understanding of star? And I see the brother is like, well, think, brother, if I may, were you?
I'm just listening because I really am having a hard time tracking what your train of thought is here.
That makes sense. That really does, because I feel like our setup got so kind of shuffled around that now we're almost like trying to touch different points.
Okay, so let's no, we're not. That's the thing, Muslim. So what I would like for you to do is focus primarily on what IP just said to you, right? The Quran made a claim, right? It made a claim. That's it. You stated that if you agreed, if Mike could show you that this is a scientific inaccuracy, then you would see that the Quran is not actually correct, that it is not perfect.
He said a point against it.
Okay, so it's a point against it. Now, in your paradigm, if the Quran has even one false statement in it, it can no longer be the word of God, yes or no?
I'd agree with that, sure.
Oh, well, here's your false statement. And this is just one of, I would say, thousands.
English is also not my only language. This is something I've discovered learning more than one. Is when it sounds like I'm being silly and picking a hair that doesn't belong there, saying, where's our notion of star come? Well,
what do you think stars are?
Right.
This is going to sound like I'm not answering your question, but give me a moment, because I think you have children too. And some things, if I may, when I go to give the definition and I look up the definition of a word, I was looking up inflation the other day. I have a lot of dictionaries. At a certain dictionary point, the definition of that word changed. So what I'm saying is stars didn't have that. Stars have been the same since we've been talking about them. Okay. However, when you ask for the descriptions of these objects, okay, they exert a gravitational force. And I start to ask, well, what is this gravity notion? once again, it seems like I'm pulling a weird hair, but imagine I'm a child, because this is actually how I came to understand there was a creator, period. Because all of these notions,
Jeremy, let me just say, I believe in a creator too. We both believe in a creator. You don't have to convince me there's a creator. Convince me Islam is true. I'll be honest, I'm just getting frustrated, man.
Yeah.
Again, if you came to me and you said, Michael, why is Christianity true? I would immediately go on a 5-minute explanation for why Jesus rose from the dead.
Yeah.
Do that with Islam, or I don't want to have this conversation.
You haven't even given me a minute and and a half, really. You said 5 minutes for you.
Well, I can do it in a minute.
Yeah. Well, you just said 5, and then you're kind of getting like, I don't know.
We were talking to you in your yard. We're talking to you now, and we're not. You've just explained to me. Oh, I became convinced there was a creator. So this has been more than 5 minutes. We've been talking to you for a good 20 minutes on and off. How are you not going straight to the evidence for Islam?
Because that is the evidence. When I opened it up, the very beginning, because those notions I talk about, if we ask what this whole even thing about the star, we can stay on that point. It just give me like hang in there, y'all. Because the brothers. Listening. Thank you. If you ask for those elements, like, well, what do you even mean the stars? Because you're asking me, like, do you think the stars are X, Y, or Z? I'll be frank. I went to the Marines for a reason. They don't send the smart guys there, and the smart ones don't go there. When someone is explaining to me the elements there, just like the words I mentioned in the dictionary that changed, they say a word gravity. Well, what do you mean by this thing? I remember it in school, but I couldn't describe it. That word has changed. So the very elements describing the object change over time. So when I'm looking for the truth, Christianity, then I'm like, okay, where is the original text? Because that's what I want to refer to. And then when I look for the surviving one, there isn't a surviving complete one, if that makes sense.
That is false. There is a surviving complete. There's several surviving complete manuscripts.
Right.
What's the name of them? I'm early in
Codex
my journey.
Sinaiticus, Codex Vaticanus.
But it's
Codex
not complete, brother. That's not complete.
They are complete. Codex Sinaiticus contains the complete New Testament. So does Codex Vaticanus. So does Codex Bezier. So does Codex Alexandrinus.
No, brother, they don't.
Right. Yes,
right.
Yes, they do, man.
And Muslim,
we have a complete New Testament.
I find this interesting because I was literally talking to IP about this right before we went live. The question he asked you was, why Islam? And you ended up back in Christianity again. Christian polemics does not equal Muslim apologetics.
Oh,
and I find it interesting that you continue to go that way.
Was enough for me to start considering Islam.
Okay. Look at what's on the screen. Can you look what's on the screen for me? Yes, Codex Sinaiticus contains the entire New Testament.
And then you're the philosopher. We would say, well, the appeal to authority is now we are placing our faith in Google.
Oh my Lord! No, okay. That's so disingenuous. It's ridiculous. Here, you know what, Muslim? I'm going to take you. I'm going to take you a different direction, because when you guys search something, right, and it agrees with your worldview, you have absolutely no problem whatsoever with the internet, right? You have no problem whatsoever when you hear these arguments on Discord, when you hear them on YouTube. You have no problem with the internet. I promise and guarantee you that the fallacious information that you presented about Codex Sinaiticus was derived from someone that you saw or heard or read on the internet.
I don't trust Google. And then you say,
that's fine. You don't have to.
You say, this is my authority. I'm placing my faith in the creator in Google.
Okay, Muslim.
You see what I mean?
You believe here? Let's not trust the internet. Okay. Well, only insofar as that.
No, I don't trust it.
Okay,
I'll
great.
be honest.
No problem. So
that's why I only spoke logically about the creator. They say there's a beginning.
Muslim.
A big bang.
Muslim. So let's talk about Muslim. Let's talk about.
How do you know a big bang happened? You use Google?
No.
Okay, now you know a big bang happened.
That was something spoken to me in the classroom.
Oh, okay. So you got it from an authority, kind of like, you know, what you just accused me of doing.
No. Because
Yes,
you
that's
asked,
exactly what happened.
you asked me where I got it from.
Yeah.
But you didn't ask me if I believe that.
Okay.
That's where I heard it from. I
That's where
didn't
you
make
heard
the
it from.
story.
Okay, Muslim,
Well,
here.
if I didn't make the
Muslim,
stories
let's-
up.
here,
I didn't make
that-
I didn't make the
that's
stories up.
Muslim.
So
That's
that's what I mean by I got it from. If that
okay.
makes sense.
Okay, that's fine. Listen,
Does
what
that
I
make
want to
sense?
do now is I want to engage in a back and forth dialogue with you, and I want to see if your standards for logic are actually a standard, okay, or if it's only a double standard when applied to Christian history. All right, so let's talk about that. As a Muslim, who do you believe? You believe Muhammad's a prophet? Let's start there. Do you believe Muhammad is a true prophet of God?
Yes.
Okay. How did Muhammad receive his revelation?
To my understanding, through Gabriel.
Excellent, right? And it all started when?
It was. I don't remember. I don't recall the starting point, but I recall that it was not all at once, and it was throughout.
Okay, so let's talk about the starting point, because the starting point would be the foundational event, which
Sure.
ended up with Islam as a religion, right? Mike, I'm going to share my screen with you again.
Go for it.
Yeah, because this is it's kind of crazy. So I want to see if his standard is legitimate. Now, the Cave of Hira was the first incident. Okay. Did the angel Gabriel tell Muhammad that it was him? Did he introduce himself? The way that he did to Daniel and Zechariah and Mary. Did he do this for Muhammad?
To my understanding, he did it in the first time as like a form of sound.
So that's incorrect. He actually never did it. When this incident transpired, he ran home to Khadijah. All right.
Well,
We
these
can
are
skip all the
hadiths. These aren't the
I know,
Quran.
yeah. Well, here. So you see this right here. You know who narrated this?
Well, yeah.
Do you know who
that's-
narrated this? Who narrated that?
They report that. That's report me is like, if I may, brother, this is like when if you bring up the Bible, I'm gonna say that's okay. I understand your point, but this isn't the Quran.
Muslim, can you just answer the question, please? Who narrated this?
I told you it's reported that it's Aisha.
Thank
If
you.
you're not going to answer the question, we're not going to have a conversation.
I literally
right.
said that.
Okay, so great. So like I said, you want to have a logical conversation, we're going to have a logical conversation. You don't just get to discredit whatever you're looking at the moment you think it's going to
Oh
be
no, it's not. I'm not
devastating to your
discrediting.
narrative.
If
Okay.
I think
So
I
if
think-
Aisha narrated this, then who gave her the account?
no, this is reported.
Dude,
Hold on,
Aisha, listen. If
brother.
Aisha
This is
narrated
like
this,
you. This is like someone saying that stories about Jesus are the Bible. These
Okay.
reports are
Muslim,
reports.
I am not, brother. I at no point stated that this is the Quran. I have made it clear from the beginning that we are discussing the foundational event of Islam. At no point did I say this was the Quran. The Quran is subsequent to this and all based on this initiating event. Okay? I never said this was the Quran.
I would
So
disagree.
I want you
would
to
say the Big Bang was the initiating event for the Quran and all other things.
Okay, the Big Bang was the initiating event for all of creation. Congratulations. We're talking specifically about Islam because
Yeah.
Islam as you
It
know
would
it did
also
not
be
exist.
that for Islam.
Islam as you know it did not exist in the way that it is now until the day of this incident in the Cave of Hira. So now, Aisha reported this.
I don't.
Okay,
brother. Look, I know this is going to sound obnoxious, but I've actually I mentioned the Marines part because
I
part
don't,
of
brother.
what-
Look, Muslim, I don't care. I don't care about the Marines. Okay. Now you're going on to these complete tangents. I don't care. I'm sorry, brother. Now I have gone into being unkind because you're doing what so many Muslims do. You're trying to appeal to emotion and things that have nothing to do with it. If you are a Marine, then answer the question like a Marine. Did Aisha narrate this? Yes or no?
I can't give you a yes or no. I wasn't there.
All right,
Brother,
have a
this
good
is
day then.
Yeah.
Have a good day, man.
Unreal, man.
I'm done. Like at some
Yeah.
point, I was
agree.
done like 30 minutes ago. I was going
I
to give you
agree.
a chance.
I agree. The thing about it is that the minute he started mentioning the historicity of our codices, okay, you believed what you wanted to believe about Codex Sinaiticus, and then you absolutely lied and said that they weren't complete. But all of the manuscripts were present in Codex Sinaiticus. That's common knowledge, you know? So then when you want to go to the history of their own religion, all of a sudden they don't want to talk about, well, it's just reported. Well, guess what, brother? That false information that you tried to give us was reported by someone as well, but you believed it, right?
Yep.
So
Here's the thing. Also, commentating on the hadith that you were talking about the appearance in the cave, Ibn al-Jawazi says, at the beginning, he, that is Muhammad, feared that what he was seeing might be from Satan, because falsehood can be confused with truth.
Yep.
The only person who was an eyewitness to what Muhammad saw in the cave was Muhammad. And his first inclination is that this was Satan, or it's a jinn, it's a demon, something like that. It was later people who were not there that convinced him it was an angel.
And the person who gave him an identification was not there either.
Exactly.
And the identification he gave was not Gabriel. Wadaka said it is the Namus that God sent down to Musa. Ladies and gentlemen, Musa never interacted with Gabriel. Never. As a matter of fact, I heard one of the worst arguments for that last night when I was having a conversation with Abu Nuri again. And he, you're not going to believe this, attempted to say that because Gabriel in Luke 1:19 stated that he stands in the presence of God, he correlated that to the angel of the presence of God being Gabriel in the book of Jubilee, and then stated, because the angel of the presence is known as the angel of the presence of God, and Gabriel said, now mind you guys, the book of Jubilee is not one of our canonical books, and then says Gabriel says that he stands present in the presence of God. Therefore, this is, mind you, made no correlation to the angel of the presence being the one that showed himself to Muhammad. Okay. And then on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the book of Luke and say, I stood in his presence, well, the book of Revelation talks about angels standing in God's presence. The book of Daniel talks about angels standing in God's presence in the thousands. That doesn't mean that every angel standing in his presence is Gabriel, and nor does the book of Jubilee ever even name Gabriel by name. So it's these arguments can get interesting, but they're desperate at best.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. All right, let's bring our next guest here. Keith, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. What is your religious affiliation?
So I want to be sure that I heard you correctly. You said that a Christian can come up if he had a question, but I'm kind of agnostic.
Yeah, we're not talking to Christians today. We're talking to agnostics. Or I'm sorry, we're talking to non-Christians, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Well, I'm kind of agnostic. I don't know if that counts. I was a Christian. So I was agnostic my entire life, and then I gave my life to Christ after my divorce 4 years ago, and since then, thousands of prayers, fasting. I've lost my daughter, I lost my marriage, I lost my job of 25 years. I'm losing my business as we speak. Everything, no prayer has helped me, and nothing has shown me anything that my prayers even matter. I don't know if God's mad at me or if he even exists.
So the first thing we need to say is that no, God is not mad at you, because again, God does not. Jesus took the punishment on the cross. He does not see our sin now. But just because God is doing stuff is happening, that does not mean you're being punished or that he's not with you. We all have trials. Monks talk about, we all go through a dark night of the soul that we all go through, where God is refining us through fire, bringing us to him closer, because it's in these instances when we actually call out to him. So that's the first thing to keep in mind.
Yes, sir. See, that's another thing is that, my prayer life is, I might have said one prayer this entire month. I went from reading the entire New Testament, Revelations, the Old Testament, and I stopped around 1 Kings when Solomon was building the tabernacle or the house for God in the ark. It just kind of fell off, man. I mean, I don't know. I've heard all of this before. Like Christians were telling me, when you come to God, you're going to find this peace. You're going to have all these things. And to be honest, my entire life has been bad, not good at all. So I don't know how long this period's supposed to last.
Well, I mean, let's remember. Let's go to. Let me go. Let me pull this up here. We were looking at Exodus 32. I'm going to go to John 16. Jesus never promised that we were going to have easy lives.
Right.
He said the opposite. So, for example, he says, I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Jesus said we'll have peace in him, but we're going to have trouble in the world. So we're going to be persecuted. We're going to go through a dark night of the soul. We're going to go through hardships, but it's in him we have peace because we know he has overcome the world. We have a place with him in paradise in the resurrection. And we know that everything we do, he's going to work together for our good and for the good of his kingdom. So even when we're going through trials and we cannot see what is going to happen on the other side, we take peace in knowing that Jesus is in control and he is going to work these things out for his good.
But see, I'm having trouble finding that peace, being agnostic my entire life, and just I was head first in it, and you know, I my 5 pillars I was doing every day. I was in it, and I constantly put God first, and the peace never came, the help never came. It just, and then I started just, I guess I'm trying to get talked down from a ledge. Because I don't want to go back to that because it was a rougher life thinking that there was no God. Then when I got saved, and then I felt the peace for a while. I'm sorry.
Well, think about what you just said. You recognize there is a peace there. Then it's a rougher life believing there is no God. So like to talk you off the ledge, you're looking at hell and you're saying, well, how is it better here on the bridge? Well, you're looking at the bottom of the bridge and you're underneath the bridge and you're going, wait a minute, there is hell down there. So there is a peace here, even in the tribulation, because Keith, you're going to die one day and you're going to see Christ. You're not going to hell if you have put your faith and trust in him.
But see, that's the problem, Michael. That's the problem, Michael, is that I'm not sure that that's even existing at this point again. And like if somebody told me I had to die for God today, I don't think I believe enough to do it. It's my thing. I don't know why I started. I guess all this stuff that's happening, I'm just falling backwards, and I don't know if I would do that. You know what I mean? I don't know if I believe enough.
Well, what do you think God should be doing? Let's start there.
At least giving me a peace. I'm dealing with a lot of depression, everything. I prayed to God, please show me a sign, give me a vision, give me a dream, anything, for a long time now. And there was nothing, just silence.
This happens in the Bible.
I know.
Well, no, there's a story that really relates to what you're talking about here.
What is it?
It's 1 Kings 19. So in this story, this is a great story because it's just after Elijah defeated the prophets of Baal on the mountain. And God sent down fire to light the altar, and all of Israel said that was present there, said, Yahweh is God, not Baal. So Elijah picks up starts running to the capital. He gets to the capital, and what happens? Nothing. Jezebel says he's going to kill him. There's no revolution. There's no returning to the worship of God, even after Elijah did everything right. He gave the miracles. He defeated Baal in the contest, and Israel doesn't repent. Instead, Jezebel and Ahab are still ruling, and they plan to kill Elijah. So it says Elijah ran off into the wilderness on his way to Mount Sinai. That's where he's going. He's thoroughly depressed. He gets there. He complains to God. He says, I'm the only one who is supporting you. Now, what is the first thing God does for Elijah? Do you know?
I don't remember, no.
He cooks. The very first thing God does for Elijah is not give him a sermon, does not give him spiritual warmth. He gives him a meal and he tells him to sleep. And then an angel touched him and said, arise and eat. Because sometimes depression is not just spiritual, Keith. Sometimes there's physical components. There's also emotional components. Sometimes we're just exhausted and we need to take a rest. And the God of the Bible understands that. He treats depression holistically, spiritually, physically, emotionally, psychologically. He treats every aspect of Elijah's depression here. He has him sleep. He has him eat. And he does these things before he even talks to Elijah and answers his questions. So the first thing to remember is sometimes we as Christians tend to over spiritualize depression. So sometimes we'll come to a depressed person and we'll go, okay, Keith, here's your problem. Have you prayed to God? Have you confessed all your sins? Have you gone to church enough? Are you in a spiritual group? Are you going to Bible study? Are you reading the word? Have you prayed over the blood? Have you consulted your elders? Have you gone to confession? Maybe sometimes what you need is just a day off from all the hardship you've been getting. And that's biblical. So the first thing to do with your depression is to stop thinking that it's entirely spiritual. Maybe there's some physical elements there.
Oh no, mine is physical. It's just everything that's happening to me right now. I'm literally homeless right now, and I've lost everything. It's been this way for a while, and it's never turned around. And I'm just in a really, really bad place, and I don't hear anything from God, and I was supposed to. You know, that's what everybody tells me. That when I came to Christ.
Those people around you are not telling you the truth. You're not guaranteed that. And when they tell you that, they've created a God who is not God. He's a servant. He's supposed to serve us. God does serve us, but it's not something he has to do. Sometimes he is silent so that because he's trying to tell us something about ourselves or have us seek things. Do not believe in people when they tell you God is basically a genie in a bottle.
Right, and I thought about that for a long time. I realized that I know he's not, and I know we're not promised. In fact, we're promised the opposite of hard times.
Yeah,
but I've never found that peace either, except in the beginning when I was full force with it, because I just knew my life was going to turn around. And it just never came. And it's been 4 years, and it's just getting worse, my situation. Here's my question again then, because I'm just still confused. What do you want God to do for you? At the very least, just give me this peace, knowing that something's going to be okay, that I'm not just going to continue dying inside. Because I'm reaching an older age now, and heart problems run, and with my stress levels, it's just anything. I take peace at this point. Even if my business fails, no reconciliation with my daughter, no nothing.
Do you believe that Jesus is God?
I want to. I'm trying to so hard, but like I'm saying, it's getting difficult.
What I'm saying though is that he already made that promise. He said in the scriptures that he take heart, I have overcome the world. John 16:33. You're going to have tribulation. He's not going to sugarcoat it, but he has overcome the world. I think what you're asking is for correct me if I'm wrong, but you're asking for him to shoot some sort of supernatural force into you when he's already given you his word.
That's pretty much what I'm waiting to see. I guess you're right, or help me with my business, something, anything.
Keith, can I ask you, is your position? You say that you're agnostic.
Yes. Well, I'm trying hard to not fall back into that, but I had to come to the realization. Even last night, I asked myself, if I had to die for God today, would I do it? And truthfully, I just don't know if I believe enough.
So, is your thought process that you could be a Christian and follow Christ, but first he needs to give me this peace that I'm seeking? It
seems like that, but that's not how I started. That's not what it was.
I understand.
But it's how it's ending up now. Because I just don't see anything.
I understand. So, and think about what you're really saying, because without really, you're not truly I know you know what you're saying, but I think from a spiritual aspect, you don't really know what you're saying, because you told IP in the very beginning, if I had to X, Y, and Z for God, I wouldn't do it because of what's going on for me, right? And then you contrast that with stories like the one that IP gave you, like the story of Job, right? Job, my brother, lost way more than you and I ever could, okay?
Right.
If I lost one child, I don't know that I would ever recover. Job lost all of them, right? He lost his house, and he still, even with that, never once uttered and said, I will go ahead and I will believe and I will be a follower of Yahweh if he gives me this peace. The man didn't have peace.
I know, and I want to be like Job. I want to be like that. want to be like David.
But you're not going to get there if you are openly proclaiming that you couldn't have this loyalty to the God that you are expecting rather to give you peace that you have openly acknowledged you don't even really believe in.
Does it seem like I'm putting myself first before God?
Absolutely.
Listen, the way you got to think of it, Keith, is like this: is like Jesus literally gave up everything for us. He got off his throne, left heaven, lived the life of a pauper, a poor carpenter, went around traveling. Even said, foxes have dens, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place to rest his head. He was homeless, according to his own words. I mean, he didn't have anywhere to go.
Yep.
And then he died the most brutal death for you. He gave up everything for you. And he's asking you to do the same for him, because he's also promising that in the end, he will set everything right. And we have to trust him in that based on what he did.
Well, do you know then, because I don't want to hold you up any further, but do you know what I should be doing then? Because I'm still new to this, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your heart posture, brother. Your heart posture has to be genuine towards the one true God, Jesus Christ. Your heart posture can't be such that, like IP said earlier, God is not this vending machine. He's not a genie, and he owes you nothing, right? And It's not to say he won't work in your life, but if you're coming from a position of, well, he's not giving me what I want at this moment, so I don't know if I believe. That situation, that posture is actually much more concerning, because you're not actually having faith in the God that you are expecting something from.
Yeah, and I noticed that because, yes, sir, I noticed that because when I pray, I have a doubt this ain't gonna happen. It's like every other prayer, and I know that's wrong.
Yeah, and the fact that the problem is, Keith, you know it here, but you don't know it here. And until you know it here, it's not going to get you anywhere.
So then what do I do? How do I fix this?
You have to actually pray in a way where you know that Christ is God. Because if you're praying for the sake of just getting something and then saying, then I'll believe in you, that's not how it works. Well, like IP said, he's already given it all up for you, right?
It's not exactly that, though. It's not exactly that, because I know that's wrong. And I grew up in a Christian home. My family and all of them were Christians. It was just me that wasn't. I was agnostic or atheist, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that's wrong. I know, and so I'm really not. I'm just. It feels like I'm kind of just big. So I think about the lady in the Bible who wanted a son or child, and she kept going to God, pleading with him over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And I think she finally gave him a child or something. She said, "If you give me a child, I'll give him and him or in service or something like that to you." And I've always heard you don't make deals with God, but that was a deal. And so I don't know. I see it working out for people in the scriptures, even though I know that's just a small portion of the world back then. But I see all these stories and how things work out, and I just don't see that reflection on me or in my life.
Keith, never has. This. Persevere. God is going to work good through you. We just have to let him, and we just keep getting up and trying every day. Get involved. Are you part of a local church? You should not be going through this alone. You need to be a part of a local church that's going to help build you up. There are many churches right now. Find a new one.
Yeah, I just can't. I'm dealing with some health issues too, so I don't get around, and I'm not even able to work at the moment because of it. And
Keith,
so,
do you have a Bible? Do you have a Bible?
Yeah, I bought several of them, different kinds.
You need
NASB.
Yeah, you need to dive. You need to dive into your scripture, brother, because the example that you used about Hannah actually doesn't even follow, and it's not even about making a deal. You do understand that when Hannah was praying, she wasn't trying to manipulate God. She was actually
right. She believed.
Right, exactly. You see what I'm saying? That's different. She wasn't negotiating with him like, you do this for me and I'll do this for you. She was making a vow of dedication. Those are two very different things. She already believed in God. This wasn't a thing about, oh, well, do this and then I'll do that if you're really there.
Yeah, I think maybe you misunderstand me. I don't really see it that way. When I pray and I know if it was to happen, he's the only one that can do it. Mm-hmm. So that's what led me to believe maybe he's mad at me. And then I heard a priest tell me that there's certain things like generational curses or something. And I don't know if that's something, because at this point I'm feeling like I have some kind of something over me. That's the only thing I can think of.
But I think IP already thoroughly explained about God being mad, and that's not.
Yeah. So
Yeah, this is not that. God is trying to do stuff through you. Let him do it. Trust him. I promise you, you will look back on the end of this and go, oh, now I see what God was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know, you're right. All right, well, we're just gonna, I guess, just start digging in my word. And,
Before you go, Keith, we would like to pray for you.
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah. Father God, we come before you with our brother here, Keith. He is going through a lot right now, and he needs you. Please show him that you are there. Give him a peace that passes beyond all understanding. Show him what you want him to do. Refine him what needs to be refined in him, and bring him closer to you and get him through this hardship. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Right. Thanks for coming, man.
All right,
We'll keep
brother.
you in prayers.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, man.
All right, let's get to some super
Yeah,
chats here. Anyway,
that's
go on.
tough,
What were you
man.
gonna say?
No, I'm just saying that's tough. That's tough, man.
It's hard to help someone in that position because you're not there with them personally.
Mhm.
You don't know their background, their history. So I mean, like, it's hard to really know all the ins and outs of what they're going through. Sometimes they just need someone to talk to. So
Yeah.
that's always good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally catching alive. That means Mike finally gets his jizya. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. So moves for Palestine. Okay. Yes. Thank you for the 2 gems. 86% is impressive. Run those numbers on the Quran. I want to see something. Yeah, you won't get those kind of numbers because the Quran does not have onomastic congruence or anything testable.
I don't even think you get 6% out of the Quran, and I'm not even joking.
You wouldn't. Testing Joe. Testing Joes for Palestine. Okay.
Jews. No, Jews. Jews.
Frank Turkey says non-Christians, pointing to Trump, the most openly secular president in our lifetime, as a bad example for Christianity is funny to me. Yeah, he is. It's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got to go catch up in my Bible readings. God bless. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Muhammad is the big banger. I could think of something horrible to say there. Totally think of something horrible. IP, why are you a Muslim? Guess. Let me tell you about Star Wars.
Bro, I asked him a question. He said, when I was in the Marines, bro, I don't care, man. Can you answer the question, bro? Please.
Muslims don't answer questions, man. Jews and Muslims are for Palestine, since you can't say either of those religions in a super chat, but you can't say Christian, Catholic, Lutheran, Cop. Interesting. Kind of weird. Gifted 5 Inspiring Philosophy memberships. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
Hi, IP. Do you anticipate doing a video on how Christianity benefited women's rights? Yes. I need to do some more research on that first. Quote Tom Holland's Dominion.
What?
Done. Probably from an earlier thing. Yeah, talking about the guy. Yeah. Thoughts if 3:7 and 12:111 are both true, and given Muhammad a job saying Quran is a part, then the Quran that we have today is the fully explained version, and the ambiguities are in the parts that are with Allah. Ugla. I get what you're saying. Ugla. I don't think that would work because, again, it's just saying it would be saying that about the version we have, and it's still a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
If your understanding disagrees with the text, then your understanding is wrong.
Yeah,
it's true. Supported your GoFundMe. God bless you, brother Maverick up there. He's super impressive every time I've seen him. Be safe. Good luck. God bless. Yeah, thank you for supporting. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it,
Tavo. Let's bring in our next guest, Mustafa. Are you there? You need to unmute yourself if you're there, Mustafa. Mustafa going once, going twice. All right.
It's unfortunate.
Naoni. Nainoi. How do you
Hello,
pronounce
can you
your
hear me?
name? I can hear you. How do you pronounce your name?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello?
Check.
Oh my.
Nainoa? Is that how you say it? Nainoa?
Refresh the page, man. Just try to refresh it. Come back in.
It's good to know that it's not just my show where people never really can connect, right? That's good.
Man. I'll let him try to refresh the page and then bring it back in. Big love for Brother Maverick. God bless. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you, brother.
I guess he was there for the Big Bang then. Yes, he must have been there. Yes.
Is that a Vulcan David Wood?
It is, yes. He was at his. That was at him at Star Trek convention. Yes. Do you know?
Oh man.
Are you there, Nain? Say something if you're there. All right. I don't know what's going on with your stuff, man. It's not working. All right. Jaden, are you there? You got to mute yourself.
Yeah, hello. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing? What is your religious belief?
I'm an Orthodox Jew.
Oh, okay. Welcome. So why are you not a Christian?
Very simply, according to our tradition, which we can establish was given at Sinai, God cannot be seen in any form. Jesus is seen, therefore he cannot be God.
Not seen in any form, you say? Then how did Moses see the back of God?
So that's not what it says. It says achare or acharai, which can be referring to a back, but could also be referring to what is behind me. Now, because none of you guys possess the tradition nor the divine exegesis to decipher how achare is used in that verse, you have no way to render it as either back or as what is behind me.
So then how do you explain Exodus 33, where Moses asks to see God's glory?
Yeah, I was about to say.
And God tells him, you cannot see my face and live. But then God places Moses in the cleft of the rock, passes by, and Moses sees God's back. As IP just, I mean, you can say, oh, well, you don't have it. That's fine. But do you have something different? Like, I don't understand when you say we don't have it.
I mean that you don't carry the tradition.
What tradition?
What? So the tradition from Sinai.
Which is what? What tradition is it that you are insinuating we don't have?
Right. So this would comprise, for example, of the Mishnah, and the tradition that Jews have carried in regards to what Scripture means. Now, I can formulate the argument for you on why we can demonstrate and show that this tradition is in fact given at Sinai.
Okay, so demonstrate through this tradition from Sinai that you claim we don't have, that Exodus 33 is insinuating something completely different than what it actually says here in front of our face.
Okay.
Can you do that?
That's what you're saying. Yeah, so I'm going to show you how the tradition that God cannot be seen in any form is directly given at Sinai. Is that good?
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Tens of thousands of sages attest today to receive from tens of thousands of sages before them the oral Torah on what and how God can be seen, etc. And also receiving from these tens of thousands of sages before them the tradition that in every generation they would observe and count tens of thousands of sages all the way back until Sinai. For this to be false, it entails two possible options. Either A, an entire generation of tens of thousands of sages collectively came to fabricate the tradition, or B, an entire generation of tens of thousands of sages fell into error in the transmission of this tradition. Both of these are irrational and improbable, so we reject them.
So the obvious response is that we just reject the premise. We don't believe there's evidence of 10,000s of sages in every generation preserving this stuff. There's no training. Even Jewish scholars would admit there was a change in tradition that happened over time, specifically on the idea that God was multi-personal in the earlier Jewish texts to more of a Unitarian position. And there were books on this. Like
address both things you said. Yeah. So first of all, the first
hold on, Jaden. Before you go on, brother, sure. I wanna make it clear also, and I want to make it clear to everybody in IP's audience that I asked you to show me from Exodus 33 that Moses didn't see, right, what the text says he saw. Instead, you gave me an argument for the authority of the oral Torah. Those are not the same discussion. What you did was you burden shifted. Okay.
So I already
hold on, brother. Hold on. Secondly, the argument that you did give is completely circular because you said that the oral Torah is true because the tradition says it came from Sinai,
not my
right?
Argument. Well, if it's circular, which one of my premises assumes the conclusion? Let's start there.
Brother, you were the one who stated that this is based on the oral Torah. Did you not?
Which one of the premises assumes the conclusion?
Jaden, can you answer the question?
I'm waiting. Which premise assumes?
No, I asked you the question because what I asked you to do here. Let me start over again because you're clearly operating from a script, and you have Jaden. You have no idea where to go. Right. This is why you're not answering my question. So I'm going to ask you again, and I'm going to be charitable to you.
Sure.
Show me, okay, that in Exodus 33, Moses did not see what the text says he saw,
so
without appealing to 10,000 sages that you cannot substantiate anyway. Please go.
Okay, so again, do you want me to address the argument I presented that you claimed was begging the question and yet provided no evidence for that? Or do you want me to now go and show you, as I already did, that Acharei can function as what is behind me? Now, as I already stated, because you have no tradition in deciphering what the word means in that verse, there's no reason to accept what you are saying. So the argument that I'm formulating is based upon this tradition that we have from Sinai. Now, when I formulated it, you claimed I was begging the question. Which one of the premises I laid out for you assumes the conclusion?
All right. So thanks again for dodging the question because that's exactly what you did. You didn't actually answer the question.
Mike and Maverick lie about my argument begging the question because they can't show which one of the premises assumes the conclusion.
Brother, you said that I don't. Hold on, Jaden? Did you or did you not say? Okay, and IP, correct me if I'm wrong. That we don't have the tradition needed to interpret Exodus 33. Is that not what you said? Okay, that is the very point that we are debating. You don't get to assume the divine authority of the oral Torah before you have demonstrated it. That is circular.
Right. So the argument I laid out for you wasn't assuming the oral Torah is true. It was providing for you the evidence that we can show and demonstrate the oral Torah was given at Sinai and soundly transmitted up until this point.
How can you demonstrate that evidence?
Right, based on the national testimony, which has an improbability of fabrication or falling to error.
Hold up. So the oral tradition itself attests to that.
Right.
It's not my argument. I'm not saying because the 10,000 people say this is true or because the oral traditions say this is true, therefore it's true, right? The argument is that what these sages are attesting to in the reception of the tradition has an improbability of fabrication or falling into error.
Where do you get this? Where do you get this idea of the 10,000 sages? Where does it come from?
Exactly.
Okay, good question. So how, are you asking how we know they attest to it today?
No, how do you know that there was 10,000 sages in each generation attesting to this?
Good question. Because if you're going to say it wasn't tens of thousands, let's just go back. Let's just go to Sinai. Let's say
I want to know, how do you know?
Right. I'm showing you, right? So if we were to assume, let's say it was 5 people in the 3rd century, just hypothetically, right? That assumes that tens of thousands of sages in one of these generations either A, misverified their predecessors, or B, fabricated the number of sages, which is both irrational and improbable.
Yep.
So they just said it. They all just said it. It's circular, using the oral tradition to assume the oral tradition.
Again, if it's circular, which one of the premises I laid out for you assumes the conclusion?
The very thing in and of itself, because you're saying, the oral tradition. If you let me explain, I will. You're saying the oral tradition goes back to Moses. Well, the oral tradition says so, and the oral tradition says there was all these sages attesting to it. It's circular.
It's not my argument. I'm not saying because the sages are attesting the oral Torah is from Moses, therefore it's from Moses. So can I lay it out for you in premises so you can understand it better? Because that's not my argument.
Go ahead. And if I hear a premise, that's circular, I'm gonna stop you.
Sure. Premise 1: sages are reliable transmitters. Premise 2: tens of thousands of sages attest to receive from tens of thousands of sages before them. The tradition that in every generation they would observe tens of thousands of sages all the way back until Sinai. Conclusion: the oral Torah is reliably transmitted.
What was premise 2 again? Say that one again.
Tens of thousands of sages attest to receive from tens of thousands of sages before them.
Where do they attest?
Right.
So can I finish? Okay.
Well, not only that, because we have yet to even remotely approach how this tradition somehow makes it so that Exodus 33 doesn't mean what it means. You haven't even gotten close to that.
I already answered you on that.
No, you didn't, brother. I'm sorry. You may think that you did, but you didn't answer a thing.
IP, what was my answer?
You said the oral tradition says that it's just something that comes after him, but that's not even the real issue.
Am I dealing with brain rot in this panel right now? What did I?
Well, you know what? Your time to go, man.
Yeah,
we start getting to the insults. I'm not dealing with this right now.
Yep. And I wasn't. I'm sorry, IP. At some point, was I being unreasonable?
No.
If you're going to say that the oral tradition of tens of thousands of sages means that therefore you are not properly interpreting Exodus 33, I'm more than willing to see what it is that you're going to demonstrate. But then when you start just getting into more, okay, well, tens of thousands of sages, and then they give it to tens of thousands of sages, and then you ask them, well, so are you appealing to the fallacy of numbers, whatever you ask him? And he says no. But then he gets into why it's improbable that it was corrupted because there was tens of thousands, and yet still, guys, doesn't demonstrate the premise of how this helps them to interpret it the proper way. Does that make sense? You can't just say, well, you don't have the proper tradition, but then never show us how the proper tradition has us interpreting Exodus 33 or anything else improperly.
Yeah, it's like he's just appealing to the tradition.
Exactly.
And by the way, like it's silly because even Jewish scholars say that's not the tradition. That was something made up at a later point.
Yes.
Like, so if you're going to say 10,000 sages have attested it, I would expect you to go, yeah, there's an inscription here that says it, or there's an earlier document here that says it, and there's an earlier document that says none of that exists. This was all made up long after Jesus. Like the Mishnah is postdates Jesus. The Talmud postdates Jesus. None of this is evidence of, it goes back to reliable stuff. So
yep.
There's someone in the queue named Cora's cousin, which I would like to bring up, but I can't because it says device is not connected. So if you can fix that, I'll figure it out. Let's bring up this person as well. Brother Gregory, are you a Christian?
Amen, brother. Amen. I am. Yes.
We're talking to non-Christians today, but I appreciate.
Oh yeah. I just called like that one brother with nothing in his life. I just wanted to share like 8 months ago. I was in the same spot, and my priest shared a parable or a story with me that there was a little girl on a plane, and the plane that she was in was real chaotic. Everyone was going absolutely crazy, and the oxygen masks were dropping. And this guy turns to the little girl, and she's just drawing, and she's in peace. And he says, "Can't you see what's going on around here?" And she just looks at him. He's like, "Why aren't you panicking?" And she looks at him. She says, "My father's the pilot," And it's to say that that's our God, So for that brother, the trust in him trusting God, that's where the peace comes from, So he just needs to hold steadfast in that trust in the Father. He'll get through,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you,
you.
brother. Yeah, and I think IP said that to him too. And it's tough, guys. It's tough. Like, it's easy to say when you're not in that position, right? Especially when it's something that's been transpiring over years. But, it sucks. But, we have to understand constantly, and this is the hardest part of human beings, especially guys who are used to being in control, right? Is that God's timing is better than ours. God's timing is infinitely wise. He sees the beginning from the end. For what seems like eternity for us, it's literally just a blink for God.
Good to see you sign up for the IPA Academy. That is on our website, inspiringphilosophy.com. You can sign up and we will train you to do apologetics and to hopefully start your own channel or ministry. That's what we want to see. So good to hear that. Just plugging that real fast. All right, Mustafa, let's see if we can bring you up now. Go ahead. Yeah, unmute yourself.
Hello there.
Hello. You said you're a Muslim?
I am.
All right, welcome. So why are you a Muslim?
Why am I a Muslim? Because it's the best religion ever compared to any other religions. It makes more sense compared to any other religions, more peaceful than any other religions, makes better societies than any other religions, and this is why I'm a Muslim.
Makes better societies than any other religion. Why does the sociological research show that's not true?
Yeah, the Islamic societies has much less prostitution, but when we see the Christian societies, prostitution rates are skyrocketing, the homicide rates skyrocketing, theft rates skyrocketing. It's bad for any country to be a Christian.
So again, that doesn't answer my question. There's a ton of sociological research that shows the opposite. Actually, Islam is correlated with far worse effects.
Yeah, I showed you prostitution, homicide, theft, and others.
So hold on one second. Let me put this up here then, since we're going to be doing this. Where is it? There it is. So when we actually go to the data, we don't see that. So first of all, we have to actually look at what the data shows. So for example, this paper here shows that there's actually more conflict, aka wars, interstate armed conflict coming out of Muslim societies, and Christianity is correlated with less. So they say that, yeah, if you have a government religious preference of Christian, you're 60% less likely to initiate a fatal armed conflict Meanwhile, if you're Muslim, you're 84% more likely to resort to force than a state with no Muslim GRP. Christianity has a restrictive war ethic. Islam has a permissive war ethic.
Okay, but guess what? Look what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. Both Christian countries, and they're killing each other left and right, and there are more than 2 million victims there. This is the Christianity.
Okay. I can just go to the Middle East. What's going on?
Sure.
So many
We
conflicts.
didn't kill 2 million there. You killed us when America came to Iraq. Killed 2 million. Yes.
So this is just you just citing anecdotal evidence, not actually dealing with the data. This was an actual model that was run and found Islam is positively associated with more conflict, violence, these kinds of things.
I need numbers.
And by the way, there's so many other studies that show this kind of stuff. I could just go on and on.
You have numbers? I need numbers.
No, you don't need numbers. That's not how this works.
I need numbers of victims, numbers of killers.
Brother, you haven't.
That's not how sociology works. You don't count numbers. You look for influences and you weigh different variables.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers are part of the influence.
So for example, let's say there was a let's just use a real life example. I would say, for example, that there's less Buddhists in the world. You would agree there's a lot less Buddhists in the world, right?
How many Buddhists are there? Like
I don't know off the top of my head, but Buddhism is like the 5th world's largest religion or something like that. Maybe the 4th.
Yeah, I think, it's not the 3rd. Okay.
Buddhism, if we just look at in this study in Buddhism and Christianity results in less conflicts than Buddhism even does. But and it would not make sense for the Buddhists to go, well, let's look at numbers. No, because you're looking at population density now. You're not calculating in the variables. You have to weigh that to actually find the actual overall result. So even if there was less Christians, those fewer Christians would still be causing less conflict. If there were more Buddhists, we'd see conflicts and slightly increase.
Okay. Then what happened in the 2 world wars where Christians were fighting each other and hundreds of millions of victims?
Are you saying that was Christianity's fault?
Christians were fighting. I'm not saying Christianity, but Christians were killing people.
There you said it right there. Christians were fighting. That doesn't mean Christianity was the cause. This is what sociologists do. There's numerous factors going in: socioeconomic factors, education level, political influences. So when you're citing like Ukraine, Russia, there's no evidence that's caused by Christianity.
But Christians are fighting. Christians were killing each other there.
So again, what is the evidence that Islam would make that better and Christianity makes that worse?
Because we see Muslims less killing each other than Christians.
We don't. We see it in the study that actually Islam leads to far more conflict.
Yeah, but I gave you wars. You didn't give me a Muslim war where millions of people got killed.
I'm giving you studies. That's better than you counting. Look, here's this. Jonathan Fox. Islamic majority groups engage in more than double the average level of discrimination as non-Islamic groups and nearly 5 times the average level of Christian majority groups. Okay, so if Islamic societies are better, why are they causing more discrimination? 5 times that what we find in Christian societies.
Okay, but I think discrimination is not war. It's a different thing.
Yeah, we already covered wars. Islam is associated with a permissive war ethic. You've not been able to deal with that. You're just going to numbers. In discrimination, it's even worse.
Then why do you hate numbers? The numbers are a good thing to see.
All right, well, let's run the numbers through an actual study. So let's look at this one from Grimm and Finke. Persecution of more than 1,000 persons is
100 million.
My goodness, do you not understand how sociology works?
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at a war, would you agree there are multiple variables that cause a war?
Yes, but I see the soldiers. The soldiers believe in Jesus as a God.
Bro, what? Do you even know what World War II was?
Okay, but what about the soldiers? The soldiers were Christians, weren't
Mustafa, no, not all the soldiers were Christian. And on top of that, it wasn't even started by anyone in the United States of America. World War II started because of the H-Man, who was not a Christian, okay? And then on top of that, you had his allies who were Japan, who are not Christian, Italy, who most of which were not Christian at the time, obviously. And then you have Western countries where, yeah, there's a lot of Christians in Italy, no problem. But that doesn't, the people who were Christian and who were not Christian, I'm sorry, a lot of it. Hold on, Mustafa. I think out of that side, the most Christian country was Italian, and their participation had nothing to do with Christianity. What are you talking about?
I know that maybe it had nothing to do with Christianity, but my problem is who were holding guns and killing each other, those were Christians.
Okay, so if I just show you Muslims doing similar stuff, does that mean Islam is evil from that alone?
In the same capacity. Show me in the same capacity.
Oh, okay. What have you ever heard of the Dev Shermi policy?
Have I heard of what?
The Dev Shermi.
No.
The Dev Shermi was an Ottoman policy where they would go into the Balkans, kidnap Christian boys, brainwash them, forcibly convert them to Islam, and then send them out to wreak terror and havoc among the Christian Balkan areas. So they would kidnap boys, brainwash them, and then make them fighters, causing countless amounts of bloodshed. It was absolutely evil. Let me give you some specific battles.
Yeah,
So
I
let me put up
condemn
my
that. I
slides
condemn
here.
that.
Great. Now, notice what you're doing. Notice what you're doing.
But I don't
You
see you condemn
condemn
World
it.
War I and World War II.
What are you talking about? No, we literally just said it's not the cause of Christianity. Of
Right.
course, we condemn evils that happen.
And this is not
You're
the
trying
cause
to
of
say that some
Islam.
other-
These are the Ottomans. They're not going by Islam, by the way, when they were doing this.
Great. So now let's go back to the studies. What do the studies show? Notice I can bring up random examples.
Can you
can
show
bring
me?
up random examples.
Okay. Can you show me an Islamic doctrine tells you go and kidnap children and make them your soldiers? You can't see. These are the Ottomans.
That's not what I said, though.
Right.
I did not say that Islam sanctions that. You cited World War I and World War II as if that's reflective on Christianity.
Right,
So I cited the Dev Shermi policy. And you're like, well, that's not reflective on Islam. So you have a double standard for you and us. If something happens in Christian West, look at Christianity. But if something happens in the Ottoman Empire, which was Muslim, you're like, oh, that's not reflective of Islam.
Yeah. And you have the Crusades, by the way. I forgot about the
to add on to
Crusades.
that, to add on to that, IP, when you look it up, according to the Holocaust Encyclopedia, it says that the Ottoman Empire, during its final decades, this is not during the entirety of their existence, during its final decades of mass violence, it ranges from 2 to over 3.5 million people. These are innocent casualties. These are not casualties of war. These are just innocent casualties that were caused as a result of their campaigns, which were primarily driven by the systematic destruction of Christian minorities such as Armenians, Assyrians, and Greeks. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, these numbers are way less than the numbers of who were killed by the Christian powers.
It doesn't matter if it's 3.5 million people. It's less, so it doesn't matter when Islam does it. That's essentially what he's saying.
All right, so let's move on to a different subject because we're getting nowhere. You said Islam makes the most sense. I don't think the Quran makes sense at all.
Why doesn't it make sense? At least it's better than Trinity, where you have to worship three gods, but you have to think that they're one.
Let me show you why the Quran doesn't make sense. I'm going to show you exactly why. Do you think the Bible teaches the Trinity, first of all? Do you think would you agree the Bible teaches the Trinity?
I don't think you can find Trinity, but it's your main doctrine. I don't know why you have it if it doesn't exist in the Bible.
Okay, well, the Bible does teach the doctrine of the Trinity, but let's just go what the Quran says here. It says
The name Trinity is not even mentioned once in the Bible.
So neither is Tawheed or Tahrif, but you believe in
Yeah,
those.
we don't care about Tawheed. Yes, Tawheed. We can't stop using the name Tawheed if you want. We call it worshiping God alone. Are you happy now?
Yeah.
I will, from now on, I will stop using the name Tawheed.
Okay, great. That doesn't mean I think the Quran teaches the doctrine of Tawheed
Do the same
in some
then.
places. Yeah, exactly. So, but here's what the Quran. But you would agree that the Bible teaches a view of God that's different from what the Quran has, right?
Can you repeat the question?
You would agree the Quran teaches a different view of God than what we see in the Bible. So, for example,
course.
in the Bible, okay, great. So, Surah 241, the Quran says, "Believe in my revelations," which is the Quran, which confirm your scriptures. So, why is the Quran confirming scriptures that disagree with it?
It's not confirming it absolutely. It's confirming it generally.
Great. Where does it say that?
Where doesn't it say that?
Where does it say it? Yeah, where?
Okay, you say it's absolutely. I say it's generally. Then you have to prove your point. The same way I can't prove my point, but it's generally.
Yeah, I can quite easily. I'll show you right now. It's unqualified, so it doesn't say generally. Therefore, if I said, for example, I believe in the Bible, you would believe you would take that as an unqualified statement to refer to the whole Bible.
Okay.
Statements that are qualified, like generally, mean you could say it refers partially. Unqualified means it refers to the whole thing.
Okay, but I'll give it to you as an equation. Confirmation, conscious edits equals general confirmation. You can't give me an absolute confirmation with that.
Show where can you show once in the Quran where it claims to correct the previous scriptures, please?
Yeah, by blatantly contradicting something important in Christianity.
Blatantly contradicting something only illustrates that you didn't actually know what you were confirming to begin with.
Jesus not killed nor crucified and was meant to be so. It's destroying Christianity by making this claim. So Muhammad was clearly knowledgeable about the fact that Christians think that he was killed and crucified, but he came and said no.
Where does Muhammad say that teaching was in the prior scriptures, in the scriptures of the Jews and Christians?
Yeah, it's in the scriptures.
Where does he say it, though? Where does the Quran assume that is an error in our scriptures that needs corrected?
Right.
I think by saying it, it's enough to know that it's correcting it.
Okay.
So you have to make an inference.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making an inference. You're making an inference in a book. You're making an inference in a book that claims to be a detailed explanation of all things. That's interesting. Does God?
Yeah,
does God? Does God? Is the Quran perfect, brother? Is it the perfected word of God?
Of course it is.
Okay. So then why are you making inferences on something that is detailed and perfected?
Yeah. He says I'm confirming it, but he adds conscious edits, and that means it cannot be.
Brother, I didn't ask you to repeat. I didn't ask you to repeat your original flawed statement. I'm going to ask you the question again. I want you to listen to it this time. Okay. If God's word is perfect, and this is the verbatim word of God, would you need to make any guesses on what it may mean, or would you be able to read it and ascertain what it is saying without an issue?
The second option.
Thank you. So the moment that you say we can infer that it is making corrections because it disagrees, you are making it clear that this is not God's perfected word because you are left to guess and make an inference on something that the Quran does not state, my friend. Sorry to tell you.
Okay, but can I can say I confirm something, and I don't mean that I'm confirming absolutely. It doesn't mean always that's absolutely when I confirm something.
You can say that, but you know what the difference is? The moment you said it, you actually made the statement, unlike the Quran, which did not make that statement.
Notice what he's saying, Mustafa.
And the Quran didn't make the statement. That's absolutely.
When you, Mustafa, notice what he's saying. Would you ever say, I confirm the Bible as a Muslim?
Yes.
Okay, so say I confirm the Bible.
Yes, I confirm the Bible generally. Yes.
There it is. There it is. Notice what you did. You just proved our point. You did not say, I confirm the Bible. You said, I confirm the Bible generally. You admitted you have to qualify it. The Quran doesn't qualify.
Yeah, but you said it's absolutely. Then prove to me that it's absolutely.
Because it's unqualified. It just says it. And again, so let me just ask you this. Do you agree the Bible, or excuse me, the Quran never says, I'm confirming generally?
Yeah, verbatim. No, you're using the verbatim word fallacy. It doesn't work, bro.
No. I'm just you would agree. It never actually says. Okay. It says anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
Does it ever say anything like that? I'm confirming the Bible generally.
Right.
Can you give me an example like that where you can understand it's generally confirming it without using these conscious edits?
Is there any place the Quran ever says or teaches the idea it's just confirming the Bible generally?
Yes, by saying confirming, plus conscious edits equals generally confirming.
Where does it say that?
But does it say that it's generally? Yeah, verbatim word.
Okay,
by forcing me to
Mustafa, you're making such a. First of all, you're openly disagreeing with the Quran. You do know that, right?
How am I disagreeing? You said you're using the exact word fallacy now.
I haven't even made a statement yet. How could I possibly make an exact word fallacy?
No, I thought you were.
IP, I'm gonna share this because this is for me one of my favorite things to ask them about. Now, you would agree that you said this is God's word perfected, correct?
Of course.
I find that interesting because according to Surah Al-Ma'idah, Ayah 48, this is what it says. And I'm going to go through this with you piece by piece, and I'm going to see how honest you are, okay? And we have revealed to you, O Muhammad, the book and truth, confirming that which preceded it of the scripture and as a criterion over it. Now, quick caveat, the word criterion here is actually incorrect in translation because the word Muhammad does not mean criterion. It means guardian or watcher, okay?
Yeah, guardian.
Thank you. Okay, so as a guardian over it, right? Now, when he's who is speaking to whom here, brother?
Allah speaking about the Quran.
Allah speaking to whom?
To Muhammad about his Quran.
Thank you. Okay. So judge between them by what Allah has revealed and do not follow their inclinations away from what has come to you of the truth. To each of you, we prescribe the law and a method. Right here, who is he speaking to? When Allah says, to each of you, we prescribe the law and a method. Which groups is he speaking to and about directly right there in that portion of the ayah?
He talks about Muhammad, the people during the time of Jesus, the people during the time of Moses.
Thank you. So the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, correct?
Yeah, the Jews during
Okay.
the time of Moses, the Christians during the time of Jesus,
No,
and the people during the time of Muhammad
actually,
till now.
no. That's actually incorrect. He's speaking contemporarily because when you go all the way back to Ayah 43 through 47, make it clear that Allah is saying that the Jews who turn away from their book, who do not go to their book for judgments, are disbelievers. So he's speaking contemporarily, and then he echoes the sentiment in ayahs 46 and 47. So you're not going to get out of this by saying, oh, he was speaking to the people who had it when it was revealed. That's incorrect, and the rest of this ayah is going to illustrate how. Had Allah willed, he would have made you one nation united in religion, but he intended to test you in what he has given you. So race to all that is good. Now, here's my question to you, right? Did Allah will to make us one nation united in religion, or did he intend for Jews, Christians, and Muslims to remain separate in religion and follow the scriptures that he gave each individual group?
Yeah. No, he intended to make people more than one nation, one true nation with a lot of false nations, and this is part of the test, that he will judge by it to send people to hell or heaven.
Okay, so I don't know where any of that is in this ayah, so I'm going to ask you the question again, okay? We're only talking about what's here, brother. Please don't add to your Quran because that's actually blasphemy for you. So I'm going to ask you again. Had Allah willed, he would have made you one nation united in religion. So would you agree here that it is your God's intent to keep the Jews, Christians, and Muslims separated in the religions that they are in and follow the scriptures that he provided to them? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. But he intended to test you in what he has given you, so race to all that is good, right? So now, here's the issue behind what you're saying, okay? You're saying that this is not a general confirmation, right? I'm sorry, that this is a general confirmation and that this is consciously editing. Okay, so are you saying here then that Allah is telling Jews and Christians to follow books that are incorrect?
No, he tells them to follow the Quran, to be part of the true nation.
Where here does it tell them to follow the Quran? Because this is actually saying the opposite.
Yeah, so
show me where in the Quran it tells Jews and Christians to no longer follow this ayah and begin to follow the Quran. Because I've read the Quran. It's only 70,000 plus words. I've read it actually 3-4 times, and I guarantee you it's not in there. So my question to you is, if those scriptures are corrupted, are you now stating that this ayah is invalid? Because if they're corrupted, if the Torah and the Injil are corrupted, then you would agree that as a Christian and a Jew, we can no longer follow this command in this ayah. That would mean that this is outdated and incorrect then, right?
Yeah,
It's invalid?
but let me say something. You know very well that Allah said in so many places in the Quran that he will send Jews and the Christians to hell, and he will never confirm books of them that people he's going to send to hell. So that's so simple.
Excellent. So Mustafa, so then explain why here he makes it clear that Jews and Christians are to continue to follow the law and the method that he provided. And the contextual verses from ayahs 43 to 47 make it clear that this is the Torah for the Jews in ayahs 43, 44, and 45. And then in 46, it transitions to Jesus and the Christians, and 47. And then 48, he says, we revealed the Quran, and that is going to confirm the scriptures before it. Notice it doesn't say what used to be in the scriptures. It doesn't say that, but we're going to correct the things. No, it doesn't say that. So you can try to appeal to Jews and Christians going to hell. I do agree that it says that. You're still stuck explaining why Allah is telling Jews and Christians to remain Jewish and Christian. Is this ayah invalid? Is it outdated?
I'm not sure. I need to read it because I haven't read it.
Can the Quran have invalid commands?
No, it can't.
Then you're stuck. Because if this is not invalid, then you just corroborated that the previous scriptures are not corrupted and not being corrected because Allah made it clear for us to continue to follow them. If they are corrupted, then this ayah is invalid, meaning that the Quran is not the word of God, because the Quran cannot have invalid commands if it is truly the perfected word of God. Either way, you're stuck. Either the scriptures are not corrupted, okay, or they are corrupted, which renders this ayah moot. Which one do you pick?
The second option.
Okay, so then this is rendered moot. It's invalid and outdated, and this is not the word of God. Congratulations.
I'm kind of lost. I don't know how to respond.
because you've never thought long enough about what you're saying. You don't understand that if we listen to your theory of biblical corruption, it renders this ayah invalid and outdated. But according to you, the Quran cannot have outdated or invalid commands. Otherwise, it is no longer the word of God. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if the scriptures are corrupted, as a Christian, I can no longer listen to ayahs 46, 47, or 48 as a Christian. A Jew cannot listen to 43, 44, 45, or 48 because the scriptures are corrupted, which means we cannot follow this command, which would
Maybe
make it
he
invalid.
gave you the law and you corrupted it so you can no longer use it.
Okay, so if it's corrupted, this ayah is invalid. No longer the word of God. The Quran is irrelevant now. I, as a Christian, cannot follow this command. Because according to this, your God gave me my way, my traced out way, your God gave me a prescribed law and a method that I can no longer follow.
Because it's corrupted. Of course, you cannot follow corrupted law.
Then this ayah is outdated. Then that means that I cannot follow this command. If
Can
I
you
can
reread
no longer
Can you
follow,
read the ayah, please? Can you reread
yeah,
it?
brother, look, yeah. To each of you, we prescribed a law and a method. Did you agree earlier that this is about the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims separately, in separate communities?
To each of you, okay.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree that this is talking to the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims?
All right.
Okay. Had Allah willed, he would have made you one nation united in religion. But he intended to test you in what he has given you. So, what has he given us?
The Quran.
Uh-huh. And?
The Torah and Injil.
Thank you. And those are all pertinent to their individual communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he tells us, so race to all that is good. Now watch this. To Allah is your return altogether. And he will then inform you concerning that over which you used to differ. This is devastating for your conscious
so we differ.
corrections
So
claim.
Allah knows that we differ then.
He knows that we
Interesting.
differ. It is interesting because right before that, he also made it clear that he intends for us to continue to follow those traced out ways, regardless of where we differ. Because before that, what's even more interesting is that it says we all return to Allah together anyway. That's the interesting part.
Yeah.
So again, I ask you, my
The
friend,
Muslims will return
now
to
that
Allah
you
as
have
well.
agreed, that this makes it clear that the Jews have the Torah, the Christians have the Injil, and you have the Quran. Is the Bible corrupted?
I think it's still, yeah. But I don't
Okay, so if it's still then ayah 48 is still invalid, because if it's corrupted, brother, I can't know what's true and what's not true. You guys don't have the standard by what we can judge. You guys don't have the standard by what is corrupted. You just say that it is. But no Muslim in the world has ever been able to prove manuscripturally, historically, archaeologically that the Bible is corrupted. We have
Yes,
textual
okay,
variants.
good,
We
very
do have
good.
whatever.
What does Allah do? What does Allah do? He's testing us, right? So he's testing you, he's testing us, and I think Christians failed the test, and Muslims succeeded in the test.
Okay, brother. I appreciate your rah-rah speech, but none of that actually approached what's said here in the ayah. Okay. Is the Bible
Allah
corrupted?
talking about
If the
a test.
Bible,
It's a test. We're in the middle of a test.
Okay, sure. If you say so, bro. But at the end of the day, if the Bible's corrupted, that means that I, as a Christian, cannot follow the command in this ayah, right? Don't act like you don't hear me now. If the Bible is corrupted, it means that as a Christian, I can no longer follow the Injil, which means that the command that Allah gave me here as a Christian, I can no longer follow. Do you agree?
Okay, but good, but still, the Quran's still a criteria.
No, brother.
over it.
I'm asking you if you agree.
Okay, fine, I agree, but the Quran is still a
Okay.
criteria as
So,
I mentioned.
okay, hold on. It's not a criteria because remember earlier you agreed about the mistranslation, right? It's not a criteria. It's nothing of the sort. Muhammad
What
means
is the Arabic
protector
word?
or guardian.
Is this Muhammad? Is this the
Muhammad means protector or guardian. The word for criterion is Furqan. Okay, so now that you have agreed
And the Quran,
that
it's called the Furqan, by the way.
okay, great. In this verse where it's calling itself the Muhammad, okay, stop trying to shift away. you agree that I can no longer follow this ayah. As a Christian, I can't follow the Injil because it's corrupted. Do you agree?
Okay, you can follow it, but you need to take the Quran as a muhaymin of your book.
Does it say that in here?
In the verse, yeah, as a muhaymin over it, yes. In the Arabic and in the English.
As a muhaymin, as a protector or guardian. So asking me to acknowledge the Quran as a protector or a guardian over the previous scripture, which you claim is corrupted, makes absolutely no sense, because then what you're saying is I have to look at the Quran as a protector or guardian over something that it failed to guard and allowed it to become corrupted anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I can. It was corrupted, but then I come again and guard it by removing the corrupted parts from it.
Okay, so I can no longer follow this command then as a Christian, right?
No, you follow it, and you need to add one thing, which is taking the Quran as a criteria.
Okay, but this doesn't say to take the Quran as a criterion, brother. You're going into bot mode on me. Listen, I'm going to make it very simple for you. I'm only going to ask you one more time because we're going in circles now. Okay, we're just going in circles, and you're wasting IP's audience's time. Either this ayah, I can follow it or not.
You can follow it, yes.
Okay,
yes,
I can follow it. Okay, great. So if I can follow it, that means that the Bible's not corrupted then, right?
Yes, it's not corrupted by using the Quran as criteria.
So you completely changed your position. That's a concession I did.
Why do you keep ignoring the word criteria here?
Mustafa,
why do you keep ignoring it?
Mustafa, I got a question here. Okay, is the Torah or gospel the criterion, or is only the Quran?
Each book is the criteria of its time, but when the last update comes, it becomes the criteria.
So is the Torah a criterion or not?
During the time of Moses, the Torah is the criteria. During the time of Jesus, the Injil is the criteria. During the time of Muhammad, the Quran is criteria.
Okay, does it say that in the Quran that it's only the criterion for a time?
Yeah, you cannot have two criteria. You need to have one criteria, and the criteria of the criteria is the criteria. So the criteria.
Okay, so where is the Quran called the Furqan of the Torah and Gospel?
Yeah, I think Moses. He gave Moses the Furqan. Not anybody else. And you don't know, do not have.
That's not my question. Let me say my question again. Where does the Quran say it's the Furqan criterion over the Torah and Gospel?
In the last verse that you showed me.
No, it says Muhaymin. It doesn't say criterion.
I forgot the verse, but it's there in the Quran. I forgot.
It's not there. There's nowhere does the Quran ever claim to be the Furqan of the prior scriptures.
I think I've read it, I've seen it, but I forgot what it is.
There is no verse anywhere in the Quran that says it's the criterion over the prior scriptures.
Can you go to Quran.com and type criterion, and you will see the Quran being called a criteria there.
It's called a criterion, yes. It's not called a criterion over the prior scriptures.
Correct. Those are two different. Do you understand, Mustafa? Do you understand the difference in what he's telling you? Calling the Quran a criterion, okay, is very different than specifically calling it the criterion over the previous scriptures. Do you understand the difference?
If it's not over the previous scriptures, then criteria over what?
The people, the Muslims.
Over the Muslims, exactly. The same way that the criterion for the Jews is the Torah.
No, a criteria means what makes you know the true from the false.
Yeah. So when the Torah is called the criterion, it's telling us truthhood from falsehood. Then, right?
Yeah. Then during the time of Moses, yeah, Allah said, "I gave Moses a criterion." Yes, Moses had a criterion.
So the Torah is the criterion. Then it tells you what is true.
Yeah, what was given to Moses was a criterion. Yes.
Great. So when it says that Aaron made the golden calf, it's telling you a true statement, right?
And the Quran doesn't say that Aaron who made it was someone else. So that's one of the parts.
No, that's not what I said. I said when the Torah says Aaron made the golden calf, and you said being a criterion, it's going to tell you what is true. Therefore, you just admitted there's a contradiction there because the Quran says it's the Samaritan, but the Torah, which you said is a criterion and telling you what is true, says it was Aaron.
Okay, which is better, to see a prophet making an idol or to see somebody else making it?
Doesn't matter what you think is better. You're appealing to consequences.
You have no problem
the facts
seeing
are.
prophets making idols?
We do not have the belief in Christianity that prophets cannot commit major sins. Aaron committed a major sin because he needed Christ. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, Romans 3:23. You're forcing your Islamic principles and doctrines onto us that we reject. Yes, prophets commit major sins.
Aren't prophets are the most devout people ever?
Yeah, but we don't. You know what
they
you're
make
trying to do,
idols,
brother?
but?
No. I understand. Like, I'm sorry, Mike, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying, as that I know where he's coming from as far as his paradigm, right? The issue is with what you're saying, Mustafa, is that Christians do not believe that because this is a prophet or messenger of God, therefore they are sinless people. We don't believe that. As a matter of fact, we believe that our God is so powerful that he can work in people despite their iniquity. Okay. You guys in Islam try to wipe all that away and say, well, no, that's so abhorrent to think about. No, our God not only makes it clear that he can work within them, he also exposes their sin the way that he did with Abraham, the way that he did with David, the way that, right? So this is something that like IP is trying to tell you. You're trying to force that in to what happened with Aaron, but we have no problem with our messengers being sent. And Moses took the life of an Egyptian guard. I'm sorry?
They are the most devout people. God chooses the best of the best to be his prophets.
They're not the most devout people. No, not at all.
God chooses the bad people to be his prophets?
Mustafa, you are conflating Christian beliefs and Muslim beliefs and assuming we share the same ones. This is beside the point. You said the Quran is the criterion. You said the Torah is the criterion for determining truth. Guess what? They contradict each other. Welcome to the Islamic dilemma. Anything to say? You there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If the Torah is the criterion and it says Aaron made the golden calf, and the Quran is the criterion and it said a Samaritan made the golden calf, how can they both be correct?
The criteria of the criteria makes the previous criteria not a criterion.
Where does the Quran say it's the criterion over the criterion?
I'm not sure. I haven't read the verse. Can you pull out the verse?
It doesn't say that.
Read it together?
It does not. There's no verse for me to pull up.
Yeah, but the criterion what makes you distinguish between the true and the false. So what's false?
Okay, great. I'll go to the criterion that is the Torah. The Torah distinguishes between truthhood and falsehood. Are you still there or are you glitching?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Okay. Do you agree that what you're saying is not stated in the Quran? You have to interpret it.
The Quran is open for interpretation. Why not?
It is. So you would agree that it's not clearly saying what you're saying.
Verbatim, no, but it's open for interpretation.
Great. Congratulations. You just admitted the Quran is false because in Surah 12:1, it says that these are the verses of the clear book or enlightening book. And in Surah 11:1, it says, this is the verses of which have been firm and elaborated by the one who is all wise, all aware. So in other words, you're agreeing the Quran is not detailed or clear or fully explained or anything like that or elaborated.
We have tafsirs, and there's no problem with tafsirs, which they are interpretations.
Great, then the Quran is wrong. It doesn't matter. The Quran is wrong. If it's not clearly stating what you're saying that you need to come in and add clarity. Therefore, you're saying the Quran is wrong when it claims to be clear.
Yeah, it's clear, but you're trying to
if it's clear, then why do you need to come in and make it clear?
Because we need to understand the reasons of the revelation. You know something called that in Islam, right? The reasons of revelation. This verse was revealed because of this and that.
Okay, is this a clear book?
Of course it is.
Okay, so when it tells us it's confirming our scriptures, then it's just saying it's confirming our scriptures without saying they're generally confirming.
Yeah. Are you bothered by not using the word generally? You need to see
I am.
it in the text.
Yeah. Yes. You know why? Because again,
what do we call that? What do we call that?
Because again, this book claims to be clear.
Yeah, but I think we call that the exact word fallacy. That's
no. Because again, the book claims to be clear. If I told you, Mustafa, let me be clear, I believe in the Quran. Are you going to take that to mean I partially believe in the Quran?
But the word believe in the world confirm.
Answer the question. If I said, let me be clear, I believe in the Quran. Are you going to take that to mean I partially believe in it?
You partially believe in it. No, you need to believe in it over all of it. Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Oh
That's what
my
the Quran says about our scriptures.
gosh.
Yeah, but okay. But the word believe and the word confirm can be used differently. They are used differently.
Brother, what does it mean to confirm? Here, before
To confirm-
because you're gonna what does it mean to
You can
confirm?
Google it right now. Can you say I confirm something without confirming it? Absolutely. Yes. I've Googled this and Google gave me this answer.
Hold up.
Okay.
Let's just, Mustafa, you just confirm scriptures
Mhm.
that you were that teach shirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
You
just
said believe.
Yeah.
You didn't use the
believe.
word confirm.
Oh, really? So if does the Quran tell you to believe in our scriptures?
Yeah.
It does? Does the Quran say for you to believe in our scriptures?
Okay. Yes.
It does. Yes. Surah
Yeah.
29:46. So and it uses the word believe once. So do you believe in the Quran the same way you believe in the prior scriptures?
The Quran uses confirm, not believe.
Look at what it says here. You're to say to me, you as a Muslim are to say, we believe in what has been sent down to you and what has been sent down to us. Our God and your God is one. So can you say this to me?
No. What
can't
is the
say
verse?
this.
What verse is this?
Surah 29:46. Can you say
What does it
this?
say? What does it
Say,
say?
we believe in what is sent down to us and what is sent down to you. Our God and your God is one, and to him we submit. Can you say this?
No, we can't say that to you.
Congratulations. I got some bad news for you, buddy.
Okay. For what reason? Was this verse revealed?
That's haram. That's haram. You just left Islam, now you
Oh my God.
kafir.
You're doing tricks, man.
You just left Islam, no more takbir. Stuck for a lie. Why would you say that? Stuck for a lie. You know what you did. Stuck for a lie. Why would you do that? Stuck for a lie. You know that was stupid.
I can't see
You
it,
just
man.
left Islam, left the Quran.
Hey, I see. I can't see the verse.
Islam, that's haram. That's haram. You just left Islam, now you a kafir.
Just remember, Allah won't forgive you,
What are you dumb?
but Jesus already died for you and forgave your sins. So come to Jesus. You'll experience real forgiveness.
Amen.
Amen.
That guy was stuck in a
Ugh.
vice grip that he just could not get out of, man. He changed his position about 65 times.
He literally said, I cannot agree with what the Quran says. I cannot agree with what the Quran says. You left Islam then. You're not a Muslim anymore.
I was able to force him into establishing that the previous scriptures were now not corrupted, just so that he didn't have to say that this ayah is invalid.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, guys, we didn't put you in this predicament. Muhammad did. We're just reading your stuff. You know?
What's your Google daddy done? That's a good point, Randy. Charlie says, see you this week in IP. That's right. I'll be at DebateCon in Dallas. So if you guys want to check that out, yeah, we will be. It's at Event Noir. So currently, I'll just put that up so people can see what's going on here.
Will that be live, Mike, or are those going to be live?
I don't know. Sometimes he puts them live. Sometimes he records them and saves them for later. When you
Okay.
get tickets, this is the location. Come check us out. I'll be there debating Jake Broncatella. So
Again?
it should be fun.
Oh, no, you didn't debate him last time, did you?
No, this is my first time debating him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that was Avery then, yeah.
I was taught the Big Bang. I don't believe it. Also Muslim. Islam began with a Big Bang. Yes. Oh my gosh. The religion of yes, no, no, yes.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for listening last time, Mike. In absence, Than, I feel more positive. And my favorite book so far is Ecclesiastes. Still looking for a church. That's great to hear. Keep doing that. Keep find a good church. We'll keep praying for you. That's great to hear. I want to stick up for Wadaka. Acts 7, Stephen says that it was an angel that visited Moses. Doesn't say Gabriel, though. So, I mean, it doesn't address the point.
It actually doesn't. It says angel because it's paraphrasing angel of the Lord, and then it goes on to make it clear that it was God speaking to Moses anyway. So,
yeah. We come to God for what he did for us on the cross. The gospel is true. Very true. Keith, I was with you until I just stopped Still learning to just listen. I was trying to force God to open a door of my choosing. God bless you guys. It's really well said. Thank you for the GOAT trophy of 1,000 gems and another additional 10. Shout out to Brother Maverick. Love seeing these collabs. Absolutely. Be sure to subscribe. And this stream is going to end soon. We're going to redirect to Brother Maverick's stream where he's going to cook by himself. I have an appointment to get to. Dogs, go to the vet, feel pain. You, DK, what? You don't know what God is doing. That's a good analogy. Yeah. Christians pay jizya through social services. This is the proof. Yes. If Trump is not one of the most honest examples of a Christian, then it's sad to say that for the majority to understand what is said, a Christian has to speak the language of the devils. Someone says Sparkles. Brother Mavic has a spatula. Avery has a spoon. What's the prop you have, Mike? I have it right here. It's called a whiteboard. I have my prop here, and I write how Islam is circular, and I write Quran verses on here because you don't see how. You don't see how. That's my prop.
I like the whiteboard, man.
Almost all African countries in conflict are Muslim. Northern Nigeria is predominantly Muslim and far unsafe than Christian southern Nigeria. Mashallah. Yeah. 1.5 Armenians unalived by the Ottomans in World War I, by the way. Yeah, I mean, you could play number games all day, or you just go to what the studies say. I mean, convert to dual seed line Christian identity. I don't think so. Sounds kind of weird.
I don't even know what that is.
That's a white Hebrew Israelite. Don't you get it?
Stop. Oh, okay. 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 I got you.
Hey, Mike, wanted to drop in and wish you all the best with your house moves. Thank you so much. I'm very glad that things are turning out better for you. Praying for continuing success. And nice to meet you, Maverick.
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The Crusades were defensive wars. Palestine used to be Christian before Islam was spread by the sword. Convert to dual seed line Christian identity. Don't mention to Mustafa anything about the Baka Banzi boys. Ooh. Yeah. They don't have a prostitution issue because a lot of that stuff is just legal. Mike, for all the ignorant stone lickers who claim the Quran doesn't condone rape or slavery, can you please pull up Surah An-Nisa 424 and give us the exegesis from Hadith, please? And thank you. I mean, yeah, it definitely condones sexual slavery. I mean, there's no doubt of that. Well, at all.
I mean, Muhammad had them himself. So, I mean, you know.
Brother, who was the first Muslim? Was it Adam, Abraham, Moses, or Muhammad? Quran 20, 115, Quran 2, 132, 7, 143. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Which one? I know. I did a skit as Shake It Off like a while back. The criteria of the criteria is the criteria for the criteria, and the criteria is not the criteria for the criteria. Oh, now I get it. Now the Quran makes so much sense. Thanks for explaining that to me. When Allah was writing the Quran, the unfortunate thing was that he had two right hands and he's left-handed. Oh,
that's what it was. That's what it was on day 3 in here cooking, man. Even in chats.
Amazing.
My man cooking.
Locust has been waiting a while. Are you there, Locust?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Good. What is your religious belief?
I'm what's the English word? I'm agnostic atheist.
Okay, so why are you not a Christian then?
I simply don't find any. I don't have any good reason to believe in a God. I think.
Hold on one second, Locust. I just want to address something. Hey, Christian Slayer, who says we're running in the chat. The reason why you're not up is because it says devices not connected. We can't let you up. Stop running your mouth in the live chat over there. You're not coming up because we literally can't. You've not fixed your problem. Anyway, Locust, continue. What were you saying?
I said that I don't find any reason to believe in a God. That's why I don't believe in one.
So could we try to give you reasons to believe in God?
You could try, but at the same time, you can't convince someone. You can't make someone believe. You can give them evidence to guide them into something they maybe would believe in.
Yeah, so that's what we want to try to do is just give you evidence to show that
Yes.
God does exist. So, okay, so have you ever heard of an argument for God's existence?
I've heard tons and tons. I speak. I have I have a small friend group. I'm pretty sure that all of them are Christian. At least 2 of them are,
Okay.
and I talk to them all the time about the existence of God and stuff like that.
So you're just not convinced God exists.
No, I'm simply not convinced.
Okay, so then let's just start with the basics. Where'd the universe come from?
I don't think the universe came from anywhere.
Just has always existed?
Yes.
So, you're talking about the classical universe?
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like just the observable universe? No,
Yes.
sorry, like, yeah. No, I don't believe that is eternal. I believe like the universe as in just anything that exists is eternal, that it has always existed. But our universe, our current universe is, of course, dates back to the Big Bang and such.
So what caused the Big Bang then?
We don't know.
So what is wrong with us saying that the most likely explanation would be God?
Because it's not the most likely explanation.
Well, wait, you said you don't know, but now you know it's not God.
It's a possibility that it's God, but it's not the most likely one. We don't know that. Like, why would you assume that it's the most likely one just because we don't know which one it is?
Because of the evidence that would infer that, that would imply that. So, for example, let's start with, okay, so what do you need to cause something to bring about a new thing? Well, processes can be acted upon, but things themselves cannot act upon themselves to do other things unless that thing is conscious. So self-aware things like you and I can cause other things to come into existence. But so if you're going to start with something that is non-sentient, how does it cause other things and bring other things into existence? If the first thing that put everything into motion is there, that thing has to be sentient to actually act upon itself to bring about other things.
But there are non-sentient things that bring about other non-sentient things.
Like what?
Like if we take, for example, gravity, for example, it's not sentient, but it creates planets and solar systems.
Does gravity not come into existence with the Big Bang, though?
You can say, you can say that. Gravity.
That's my point.
Hold
on. I could say, for example, a rainstorm brings about life or creates a flood, but that's a process that was created by other processes. You go back to the Big Bang. So the question is when you start at the very beginning, you don't have anything that can act on the thing that brought about everything else.
But the Big Bang isn't the beginning.
What is the beginning then?
I don't believe there is a beginning.
How do you know that?
We have no reason to believe there is a beginning.
We have every reason to believe there's a beginning because there's no, as philosophers have pointed out, there's no reason to think an absolute infinite could exist in reality. There has to be a starting point.
Yep.
Why?
Because you cannot go infinitely back. That just creates an infinite regress.
Yep.
There has to be
yes, exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. If you look at, it's very basic, Locus. If you look at a timeline, not a timeline, a number line, right? If the number line going left, right, into the negative integers goes on forever, then you never arrive at present day. That's impossible. That's just a basic mathematical premise.
Yeah, but you will be like. I don't know.
Yeah, you see, and see, Locus, that's exactly the problem, is that you are making these assertions, but you've never actually thought about it, not even from mathematics. I've studied this, brother. I was privileged to work with one of my professors who taught me all about the intricacies of the mathematical formula which relates general relativity and quantum mechanics. So believe me when I tell you, I know what I'm talking about. If you go backwards eternally, you never get to today. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I have heard this argument. I just don't remember what the counter argument I heard from it
brother,
was.
there is no counter argument that's going to circumvent the math.
I have heard it.
Okay, well, maybe come back in the future and then we can talk about it. But if you don't know the arguments, so hey, we'll pray for you, man.
Absolutely, sure will. Yeah, IP that was actually beautifully done, because that's the thing, is that the moment that someone says the universe has always existed, then that means that it an infinite regress. That means that it was always there, which means that we never get to today, which obviously is false, right? They never have anything for that. Whatever counter argument you think you heard, it wasn't addressing that, brother.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me do these super chats here. Thursday night was Baka Bazi nights. It was very difficult when we were ordered to go on patrol because you could hear it and told to ignore it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's actually true, especially in Afghanistan. You're told to ignore many things that are not mission specific, but yeah, it's true.
Christians ask who created the universe, and atheists ask who created God. It's a circular argument and goes nowhere. It's just saying both use good reading. Only God knows true causality. Well, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to ask who created the unmoved mover. It's a logical question, to say the least.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll bring up one more caller, Brother Maverick. If you need to go get ready to go to your stream to start that so I can redirect everyone there.
Yes, I'll go now. Thank you. So
right.
I'm going to leave. You know what? I'll be here for another 5 minutes because I already scheduled it for 5 anyway. And then, I'll drop down. I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah. And then I will just redirect when I'm done. Christian Slayer, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you Muslim?
No.
What are you?
I believe in one God, but not any specific.
So you're like a deist?
Yeah.
Okay, so why are you not a Christian?
The Bible has a lot of weird stuff in it, and your doctrine is just a lot illogical. But the weird stuff mainly.
Do you think quantum mechanics is weird?
What do you mean?
Well, you're saying something is weird is not a philosophical argument. That just
No,
means you don't. It doesn't
weird
align with
as
your
in like it
preferences.
has it has weird stuff in it. It's a very odd book. First, I thought it was like some kind of
Quantum mechanics is odd. That doesn't mean it's false.
No. It's weird. It's like Epstein kind of weird.
How?
You want me to bring you the verses? It's a very odd book.
What or where are you going, man?
There's a bunch of verses, man. All right, I'll give it to you. You want it? Okay.
Bunch of verses,
So,
man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. So the first one is about dowry in the Bible. The God of the Bible, he gives us a great he gives a great insight into what kind of dowry he likes. Where in 1 Samuel 18:27, he says that David takes his men and they just get 200 Philistines foreskins. What the
did
hell?
God command him to do that? Did God command him to do that?
God endorses him.
Where does God endorse every single action he does?
It doesn't matter. He endorses the person. If I say that person is good, then most of his actions or what he leads to is a good thing.
God says in Romans 3:23, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Therefore, that does not mean he's saying all his actions were good.
That doesn't have anything to do with the person, though.
Yes, it does, because you can say that God is using sinful people, not endorsing all their actions.
So, wait, all have sinned?
All have sinned.
Even the prophets in the Bible have sinned?
Everyone but Jesus. Because Jesus
So
is God.
okay, so what does it have? So it just equalizes everybody. So it doesn't really. You're not really making a point.
Thank you for making a great argument. The Bible promotes equality.
Okay, yeah, because equality. You're not answering my point though.
Which is
why is he he's getting this guy 200 foreskins? What the hell?
Where does God say that? Where does God say, go get those foreskins for me? That's
all right.
Saul who told him
You
that.
know what? Okay, I'll give you another one because you don't want to address that one. It's okay.
Okay,
Deuteronomy 22, 28 to 29.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I should read this, man. Oh my God! If a man
Are you gonna read the
happens to be a
NIV
virgin who is
version?
not. Yeah, I'm reading the NIV version.
Of course you are. That's the one they always like to read.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna look here. If a man happened to be a virgin who is not pledged to be married and grapes her, then they are discovered. So if they get caught in the act, like it's like some kind of like I don't know.
Wait a minute. Where's
I don't
the
know what
word
kind
for
of
rape?
story
I
it
don't
is.
see that in the verse.
Are you using the same thing I'm on Bible Gateway?
Okay, so am I.
Okay.
I'm in the ESV
Okay,
version.
I
now.
can
Where's
present
the
my
word for
screen
rape?
if you don't believe that this is the Bible.
No, I believe the NIV is poorly translated
You know
there. The actual word is tafas. Where does tafas mean rape?
I don't know any Hebrew or whatever this.
Yeah, it
whatever
doesn't
they
mean
speak
rape.
of.
It means to seize or grab.
Okay. So what? So if a man goes and sees and grabs a girl, he has to marry her now?
No. Notice what it says. It says they are found.
Yep.
So if a man,
so they are found
meets a
seizing and
virgin,
grabbing.
They're,
So the
they're
Bible-
both
the
caught.
Bible
They're
Bible
both
does no
engaging
grammar?
in the act. They're both engaging.
Oh
in
yeah,
the act.
of
That's
what?
the point.
Of what?
Of having sex.
It literally
premarital
says
sex.
forces upon her. What are you talking about?
Where does it say
No,
force upon her?
Right.
It's literally the context.
Brother,
No,
the
does it-
Caesars the context here in Caesars is talking about seduction. This is not talking about him forcing himself on her.
What do you mean? What does seize mean to you? What does seize mean to you?
Brother, you can keep repeating the same word, but you're talking about context. When he seizes her, this is talking about a man who is literally seducing this girl. Because if you look back at 25 and 26, the punishment is actually death when this is a true seizure of a woman by force. The young woman in the second, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but if in the open country a man meets a young woman who is betrothed and the man seizes her and lies with her. By the way, the word "seize" there, different word, different Hebrew word. It's not tefas. So if the man seizes her and lies with her, then the only the man who lay with her shall die. Yeah. In other words, if he actually is graping her, yes, that man is killed. In this one, it says if a man meets a virgin who is betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, and they are found, then they're both basically said, okay, now you gotta get married.
So if they're not found, then he just dies.
What? If he grapes her, yes.
Oh wait, so what happens if huh?
That's what it says up here.
Hey Mike, I'm gonna drop down. I'm gonna get ready, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, yeah, I'll redirect when we're done.
What did he say? Okay,
he's gonna go to his own stream.
So basically, so if he seizes her and they get caught, then he just has to pay 50 shekels and that's it.
They have to get married, basically, yeah, because they were having premarital sex.
He just coughs up 50 shekels and then that's it. That's done. He can just force himself, like he could just. Damn. Okay. All right.
No, that's not what it says. You're not listening, man. You're not listening.
What does seize mean, dude? What does seize mean? Where do you get the word seduct? Where do you get the word seduct from? That I don't see that in the verse.
I'll show you. Let's go do this. Exodus. There's parallel passages.
Exodus have to do what? Why are you like jumping?
Because it's the same law in effect. I'll show you.
Okay.
Watch Exodus 22. If a man seduces a virgin who is not betrothed and lies with her, he shall give the bride price for her and make her his wife. Notice it's the same thing, but the difference is the word seduce. So what's happening in Deuteronomy? It's a seductive act. He's seizing her. He's like pulling her in and going, "Come with me, girl." And then they are found. Then they have to be married because they're having premarital sex.
So how do you connect those two verses? You just kind of like pulled up like a different part. Like if I open a book and I'm like, okay, at the end it says happily ever after. In the beginning it says once upon a time, and basically the once upon a time was happy. That's why I say that's like the same logic you're using. If you follow,
it's literally the same rule, man. I just showed you,
bro. I don't know, man. Okay, here's another one. Okay, and I don't know how you're gonna like bring up some like wonky for this one, but this one is about this is I don't know. Wait, do you believe that the God of the Bible like influenced the Bible's writing?
Of course, he inspired it.
Okay, so like whatever it says in the Bible, it's like attributed to him. Like that's God saying that.
Depends. Sometimes he
like in a
Bible will have other people talking.
Like, God endorses the Bible, doesn't he?
He endorses the full message, yeah, in its context.
Yes, and every like and the text of it, he endorses it, right?
He endorses it in its context, yes.
So the text, right? Okay, thank you. So basically, when he let me find this. Okay, so when the God of the Bible wanted to talk about some prostitute in Egypt lusting after her lovers, he liked to describe the genitals, which were like donkeys, and a mission was that of horses. Whoa. And so he talks about this girl, and she's like longing for the lewdness of her youth.
He's using analogies,
her bosom
right?
was caressed, and her young breasts were fondled.
So he's using analogies, right? To describe. He's using analogy to describe Israel's idolatry.
Why is God doing this? What kind of God is this that he just?
He's using analogies to describe Israel's idolatry. What about it?
Yeah, why is he using this analogy? Does not God have any shame? Like what the heck, bro?
God created sex. What's wrong with sex?
So why is he, dude? This is a prostitute. It's not sex. It's prostitute.
He's using an analogy to describe Israel's idolatry. What is that?
He's using a weird analogy, bro. What kind of God is this?
Okay, well, there you go with weird again. You may think it's weird. Doesn't mean it's false.
Okay, wait. So, okay, would you speak like this in front of your children? Huh?
Not necessarily, but the Bible.
So why is the God of the Bible speaking in front of this like to his children who are made in the image of Him?
Yeah, and guess what? God expects you to be a mature adult, not just a stupid child for the rest of your life.
Yes. So why would you? Oh my God, bro. So if a mature adult gave this to a child, is it like this kind of text? Would you show your children this text right here? Would you show them that?
No, because not everything in the Bible. But there's parts of the Bible that people grow into. For example, the early rabbis said you should be 30 before you read the Song of Solomon.
What does that have? What?
Yeah, not everything in the Bible is for the immature. Yeah, that's our point. What does it do with anything?
Wait, dude. If I mean, okay, look. Let's say you're walking on the street, and then you see a guy and he starts talking about some girl on
This is the Christian Slayer, just so we're all aware. I mean, this is incredible.
Oh, you muted me. Come on, that was very rude, bro. You have to give me like a warning. Give me a warning.
I just had to talk to the audience for a second, but go on.
Okay. All right. You could just tell me to pause next time. So if you were on the side of the road and you saw a guy and he started talking about some random prostitute on the side of the road like this, would you think he was rude? Like, serious question.
Talking like what? What do you mean?
Okay, so there's a prostitute to the right of you. There's a guy in front of you, homeless dude, and he talks about the prostitute like this. Would you take this would you take this in kind? Would you take it positively?
I don't know who these people are, so what does that have to do with anything?
I'm just giving you an example.
This is not analogous to the Bible where Ezekiel and God are talking and they're more intimate with each other.
Wow, Ezekiel and God are intimate, and like which way?
Have a good day, man. I'm not gonna have. I'm like, what a child. This is what they bring, man. Oh my gosh, he said they're intimate. That must mean sex because I'm basically, yeah, a pervert. Oh my goodness. That was Christian Slayer, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone impressed? Yeah, me too. The universe always existed. Wouldn't it then have the omni properties and therefore be God? Not necessarily. Thanks for your work. Thank you so much. How much Hebrew, Koine, Greek do you know, IP? Not enough. I need to learn more. Can you debate Pastor William Fink of Christogenia? He is a Christian identity. I have no idea who this is or what this stuff is about. IP, we need more videos explaining concepts like hell video, like your hell video and the video about praise. Oh, thank you. Well, it depends on what concepts. I need to know more what you mean. Allah of the Quran talks about the breasts of the houris of paradise. This guy would never critique his own God with the same standard. I don't think that last guy was a Muslim, though. He said he was just a deist, so I don't think that works for him. So, all right, let me make sure. Hold on, everyone. I want to say something here. Everyone, hang on. Hang on, everybody. All right, so I'm going to close this out. I have an appointment to get to really fast. This stream is going to redirect to Brother Maverick's stream. He was just on with me. Go subscribe to him. Come see me in DebateCon in Dallas. I will be flying out tomorrow. So come to that event, and I'm going to redirect to Brother Maverick's stream. Go support him. Show him some love. Send him some super chats. Subscribe. And appreciate everybody for coming. I'll see you guys on Monday, if not at DebateCon. You made it to the end of this video, which means this message matters to you. If you want to see more content like this reaching people for Christ, you can help make it happen. Your support makes these videos possible. Click the link below and donate today. And if you want to go even deeper, consider joining our Patreon community. You'll get early access to videos, behind-the-scenes content, and a place to connect with others passionate about this mission.